All right, guys, this is a pretty serious podcast here. There's a lot of people in the studio right now.
1 second.
Yeah.
Where do we look?
You don't have to look anywhere. We could just talk. I mean, most people probably have this on their
leave that in.
ears. Yeah. So yeah, you could look at the AC duct.
I'm waiting for something to come out of it.
I'm worried the table.
None of you guys have been here. All of you guys I'd like to have for your own episodes at some point, but for now we're just going to kind of send it with the whole group, and it's probably going to get derailed completely, but the goal was to talk about the upcoming Cleetus and Cars events in, a week from now?
Yeah.
So you would know best.
Saturday, May 6th.
Yeah, quick
and
plug
Sunday,
for that.
May 7th.
Do you know about this?
I think I'm busy, actually.
Get good. Your car won't get crashed.
So Cleetus and Cars, Indy, May 6th and 7th. It is, if you're seeing this, it is probably a few days from now. Get on the move there. If you're listening to this, start driving, start getting there because it's going to be awesome. There's so much cool stuff coming out. I think it's probably going to be one of the most elaborate ones you've probably ever done.
Yeah, it should be. I think it might be. Well, outside of Bristol, it's going to be probably the biggest one ever. And your boy Cooper is racing in Crown Vics again.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I have a severely sprained ankle at the moment as well. So it is like,
Right foot or?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Nope. I went down real bad on an electric scooter at Bradenton.
If you can't make it,
At the track.
Garza
at the
said
track.
he's good.
Yeah, I got my student. If you can.
I mean, you might have to.
When's
Yeah.
the last Crown Vic race? Probably the first lay of mullets, I think.
Me and Jeremy raced in the 2.4 hours.
Of lay mullets that
Yeah.
year, and then you haven't raced any since. So this
Yep.
is
2020,
big
right? That was
comeback.
2020.
Yeah, this is the comeback. So the first one, a lot of people don't give me any credit for, but you don't deserve any credit. I was in 4th place. I was
dude.
I was right. I was near the podium.
Nah, dude, no credit.
Podium adjacent.
I don't even know who got second in the last race. Our races are just you ain't first or last.
Yeah, and then the huge payouts for this burnout contest kind of are super alluring.
Oh yeah,
Massive. I mean, you're giving
was
out
it $6,000 for first place in the pro class, and then $3,000 for second, and then I think is it $5,000 for first?
The other one,
Or maybe it's
top
$3,000 in the
I
open.
think it's like 10 to 15 grand worth of payouts just in the burnout contest.
Do you think any of us here are potential to win in this room? Maybe.
Well,
Depending on the class.
I know that I will not win.
I can't win.
Honestly,
I could, but I can't.
you three, I don't see it. I don't see it.
With the rig I'm bringing, it ain't happening.
I mean,
it ain't happening.
you're vehicle limited. You two, unless you pull something out,
Dude,
I don't know.
I took my muffler off.
Yeah.
remember when we used to do like best wall taps? Garza's still on that whole deal.
Yeah, I know. Garza can't get it through his
Is that
head.
a wall tab?
No, I just got hypnotized, so it's like I think I'm good now.
When you push the
You
push your
just-
core
wait,
support in, is
You
that
just
still a
got
wall tab?
hypnotized?
Yeah, since the
It's
last
not a wall tap. So pro class $6,000 to first, $2,500 to second, $1,500 to third, and then it keeps going. Open burnout comp $3,000 to first, $1,500 to second, $1,000 to third, and then the streetcar shootout will have $2,000 to first, $1,000 to runner up. Oh, and then the tandem class, I think.
Tandem,
I'll
I think,
be in
gets
that.
1,000 for first, I think, is what they did last
Yeah.
time.
tandem.
I think Garza almost won the
do
last
a tandem.
tandem.
All right.
You guys are gonna do a tandem?
Oh wait, that was a bad idea.
That's dangerous, dude. Did you see him in the last tandem?
I saw him in the last burnout, and it was kind of scary.
He just left. Kyle was still
That
sitting
was
there
the
doing a
tandem.
burnout.
That
Yeah.
was the first ever tandem burnout at Cleetus Cars we've ever done, and the Garza almost totaled this car.
Did the guy that you were tandem with let you go in and then just like, oh shit, back out? Like, I don't know.
No, we had a whole plan and everything. He's like, "You go first, and then I'm gonna hit left." I'm like, "Perfect." So I leave him. I'm like, "Oh, we're good to go now."
I remember I saw Garza launch on that video, and I just remember seeing his wheel speed, and I was like, damn, he's in first. And I know he told me his whole plan was to be in third. And then I see his wheel speed match his ground speed.
Not a good
The thing's
idea.
just dead hooked up, and he just plows it into the
I'm
far
literally
side
thinking
wall.
like, "This is third. Like this thing's scooting."
But it was just dead hooked.
It just doesn't make the power, and then once it gets so grippy out there, because it gets pretty tight on that track.
Yeah, it was hooked up.
But Indy's asphalt, right?
No, Indy's concrete.
Oh,
And he's
it is?
concrete.
Is
And
it?
it's a little smaller, I think, than
is
what we've been.
small,
It's smaller.
Yeah, right alongside the track. Do you think you could get like a NHRA funny car in there?
I feel like the opportunity is there if we get, once we get everyone fired up, like, because these NHRA guys, they don't really know who we are or what we're doing, but they'll have no choice but to see it. And I think they'll get fired up. Someone will back in.
I think somebody will get in there and top. Yeah. I heard Tony Stewart's going to be there.
I mean, if Tony Stewart, I have just this really high hopes that he'll back his car in there. But, I feel like that probably costs them like $5,000.
They'll definitely go through an
Would
engine.
it burn somebody?
It would be reckless.
It would be insane.
It would definitely be a move out the way crowd.
Yeah.
A little bit, because that would be loud.
Well, it wouldn't be able to be. It would just have to be like a roller out of the pit.
Because if they tried to steer it, it would probably flip just because of how tight they are.
But it would be sick.
Do they have some burner tires for it?
It would be so sick.
It'd be awesome.
So who do you think the most dangerous person behind the wheel of a Crown Vic is?
In this race coming up?
Just in general.
In general,
because it seems like some
Dave Sparks.
All right. Seems like some pretty
I can agree with that. I've been out there with him.
Dave Sparks has not been in that many races, but when he is in a race, there's going to be at least 3 to 4 totaled cars on his tab, or on his name.
He's got a
Dave knows
budget.
this. If Dave sees this clip, he knows it.
He might take pride in that.
Well, he totaled the car in practice. Do you remember that?
Easy, bud.
He totaled a side by side.
Yeah, dude. Dave Sparks.
Like 30 minutes.
He does everything at 110%. That's what you got to know about Dave Sparks. He's not coming in 99%. He's coming in full 110%. And whatever happens, happens.
I remember one race he's coming back and like he's behind me and I just see his car just smashed. Like, who is this? Smoke pouring out of the radiator and he's still going. And I'm like, oh my.
He's a savage, dude. You gotta love him for it.
It seems like some fairly calm, competent drivers are in the one in Indy. Like not like really wild card of like, this person's just gonna crash into everything.
Has raced.
I think everybody. We got a less field this time too. I think we got 17 or 18
same
drivers.
As last year.
Same
18
as last
in
year.
Indy. Yeah.
Is it a smaller track than?
No, it's half
Bigger.
mile.
Okay, so it's bigger track.
And it's a flat oval.
That's why it feels
Everybody's
smaller.
getting a lot better though. Like I remember the first couple. I mean, for the most part. But then like we just did the Danger Ranger on Bristol, and that was a lot of guys that never really raced before, and they just don't know. They're just full sending it, and next thing you know, you're just watching trucks flip all around you, and it was wild.
That looked fairly scary.
Parker getting better.
Parker. I mean, you didn't really bring him up as a dangerous driver.
Parker is a very dangerous driver. Parker Mitchell would definitely be, because Dave doesn't race him, so I'm just gonna go ahead and not say it's Dave. In Indy, Parker is the one you want to watch out for.
So don't go near Parker.
Yeah, honestly, we need to give him a stern talking to before.
So
his car is just destroyed. And after the race, he's like, everybody hits me. I'm like, bro, no way.
it's hard being a dentist.
Everybody's just out to get him.
Yeah,
My strategy is a very, very bad strategy to win. Garrett's pointed this out to me before, where I just follow a car that has a good line.
Oh yeah, I've known this forever. Dude, we were go-karting.
Wait,
Yeah, so like when Cooper and I used to go-kart a lot, and I would be like, damn, like Cooper would go from like really bad lap times to like really good lap times, like almost right on with what I would do. And then I realized, like, if he's behind someone, he'll run perfectly with them.
I can perfectly pace somebody's
break
time.
off of him, he's done.
Well, that's how, like, it's great to get, like, 4th or 3rd, 2nd, but you're not going to be in first place with that type of driving. But you can you can be in the pack, and if you don't get crashed into, like, my first race.
It's survival,
You
too.
behind Kevin Smith.
Yeah, so if I can follow somebody, I can get decent lap times. But if I have to be...
Smith, I don't know, man.
Kevin's got the best... Kevin
He's
is
fast.
the most skilled. Kevin and DeBerti are the most skilled out of everybody, but Kevin's almost maybe too technical. And I think that
I was trying to follow Kevin at the most recent Freedom 500 because it was him, Vaughn, and me, and literally the lines he was taking, like I would try to take the same line, and I couldn't. No matter what I do, he like wouldn't really pull, but he wasn't like. I was not gaining on him whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm trying to hit this line. So I'm like, he's got to have the fastest line. And I couldn't hit it. I was like, dude.
And they reserve tires.
Yeah, he's thinking about tires. Like, that guy is very analytical. I don't know how he does it.
And then you watch somebody like Brent, who has the great lap times, but then just
savage.
20 laps in, the car is like done.
Dude, the car's mechanically his
done.
Tires nearly done.
Remember when he hit the wall that one time with both side tires?
Yeah,
like,
first one.
2 perfect circles on the wall from the tires.
He's a really good racer.
Yeah.
But you can almost watch him burn his tires. You can sit back and watch him burn his tires.
He gets savage. He gets out there and just starts
Yeah.
And it takes the luck too, because like Leah had a bad luck where her tire was getting rubbed into the fender of the car with an accident.
That was after she hit the wall, though.
Yeah.
I think Seuss and her made contact. Like, she tried to close out Seuss. Seuss stayed. She hit the wall, broke her Watts link, and then her car was
done.
just terrible the rest of the race.
I think Seuss this race is going to be the.
Seuss got second. I think Seuss got second last year.
I texted Nick Seuss and told him that I'd be willing to shake and bake with him at this race.
Yeah.
What happened with you at the last race? Were you third or a lap behind?
I was third.
He got third.
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
the
A lot
Ranger
of
race.
seconds and thirds
Yeah.
for JH.
A lot of podiums, a lot of top fives. Just
Bristol,
need to
yeah,
pull
second.
pull the W off.
Yeah,
I
why
know.
can't? What's the deal?
Working on it, just haven't had the perfect
What's
race
the deal?
yet.
Come on.
I mean, you tell me. I mean,
Is it nerves?
it's not nerves. I'm good. I'm out there. I blew a tire in Bristol last year, led for like the whole race.
Yeah.
And then the Ranger race, blew a tire at the Ranger race, was in second, fell to last, came back to third. And then, just a lot of podiums. Just got to get that number one spot, though.
Yeah.
That's the tough part, you just got to stay not wrecked, I feel like.
Yeah.
And you have a really good chance of podiuming.
It's true.
But do you get my worry is I'm going to go and compete in 3 different events in Indy, and I'm going to lose all 3. And I have, like when you bring out so much potential of, okay, you're going to 3 different things that are completely different levels of driving, and you're just going to come home empty-handed still.
Too?
Yeah,
You're
he
taking-
did the streetcar class.
Oh, really?
So I'm doing all 3 things, and I still feel like I don't have great odds.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just gotta switch your mentality to I'm going there to win all 3.
I mean, hey, I'm going to win something. For sure, I'm going to try, but it's looking bad. The guy who made the streetcar rules definitely owns the car that the rules were written.
Oh, what?
I was like, man, these rules are really well written.
They're the TX2K rules. They're the TX2K rules, which my car fits.
I mean, the rules that we had last weekend were pretty interesting because they say big block can't have bigger than T4 turbos.
Yeah, see, that's just.
Where's that at?
That was at Bradenton
reunion.
Rules at the reunion.
Yeah, they're starting to block big blocks from streetcar
Really?
classes, which is lame because a big block is just as accessible as an LS.
Yeah. It's a streetcar is a streetcar. If you can drive it on the street, it's legal. It's a streetcar.
I mean, yeah, I'll drive anything on the street, though. I've seen you drive your mud truck on the street.
It's a street
It's
truck.
a street truck.
That was the first time I actually ever saw you was in your mud truck at the first Cleetus and Cars.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how is Alan letting this happen right now?
Alan
was
told me to
thinking
do
about
it. Alan was like, go for it. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah.
I was thinking about that today, how actually JH, and as much as I hate to hype him up, 'cause the guy's out of control already, JH is the sole is pretty much, he's a very good reason why we live in Bradenton. Probably,
Wow.
well, I mean, think about it. When we lived in Tampa, we didn't have any plans to move down here.
No.
And then we went to, Bruce Wilson invited us to your New Year's party, which
right.
we had met you, 2 years before?
Yeah, we'd been, Alan introduced us, and then we started kind of talking.
Yeah, so in 2017, Alan, my business manager, introduced us. And
Yep.
then 2 years later, we caught wind of his New Year's party, came down. That's when I ran into Maddie, and that's when her and I started talking. And then I'm leaving JH's house one day, and I saw my house for sale across the street. And then you started looking in the same area.
Yep.
And then you actually found this place and closed on it before I even got my house. And then it's like, boom, now we live in Bradenton.
Within like the same day.
Yeah, it was like
It was
24
the
hours
day
apart.
I
before.
remember he like texts me and goes, "Hey man, what do you think of this house?" And I'm like, kind of like, "Oh yeah." And I look at the address. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be really bad." Yeah, let's get it. Do it.
I was pulling
Let's
out
do
of your
it.
house when I saw it, and then it's like boom, we lived in Bradenton. Like,
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is
there was
in
no
July.
even thought of the Freedom Factory. That was not even like
No.
on the radar.
well,
Nothing.
We were like, it's cool. We're by the drag strip.
Yeah.
but we still had to. Like Cooper and I drove.
I remember you'd
an
always
hour
haul
every day to
the
work.
Dodge Dually with the
Back up
trailer
in Tampa.
every day to Tampa.
all the
every day.
time.
Yeah.
Every
And
day.
it was like terrible parking up there too. And I feel like, which is weird too, we didn't really race that much at Bradenton,
No.
but we raced all over the country.
Yeah, I don't know why.
We raced in like, 10 different states, and then we would race at Bradenton like once compared to the other like 10
I think that
events
was
we would
kind of
go
when
to.
Victor kind of got the track, right? Like before Victor had it, and then
Alan
he started
still
really,
had it, but we went to like Orlando more, weirdly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Now that I think about it.
Because we weren't at Bradenton all that much. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Alan just didn't do much
I
streetcar
guess
stuff.
Tampa to Orlando, maybe that's not. It's about the same though, isn't it? Tampa to Orlando is about an hour and a half. Bradenton's probably an hour.
I think just at the time we didn't care as much about drag strip numbers as we did like just getting the car done and like going out on the street and screwing around.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as big of a priority to go to the drag strip.
We would just go to events, make like a Hail Mary pass,
break it,
ruin the
leave.
car, sell merchandise, and leave.
And leave.
So, Garza, your burnouts are pretty much the most interesting, which is kind of weird. Why? Do you have any rhyme or reason why?
I mean, I'm just sending it. See what happens. No practice. Just show up, send it,
Yeah.
see what you get.
Do you feel that happens? Like people get into the seats, like they're like, oh, Garza's burnout's coming. Everybody like gets to the bleachers, and
we had a lot of bets going
You
on
know.
the last one. Is he going to hit the wall? And he came out and really sent his
First
solo
one was good.
burnout. Like did
No one
really
remembers the
good.
First one.
did you bet on yourself hitting the wall?
No, but
Because I feel like that
there was,
might have
like,
happened.
there was a pretty good amount of money. if
I-
hit the wall the first time.
I was
And then
like,
Garrett pays to fix it.
yeah. I was signing after the event and there was like a line and some guy was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Garza crashed." And I was like, "What did you guys think of Garza's burnout, by the way?" And this guy just goes, "It was miraculous." he's like, "It's exactly what we came here for." He's like, "We were disappointed when he left the pad the first time." Then he comes back out and just seals the deal. And like this guy was so happy about it. I was like, man, maybe Garza's got a thing going here for himself. Like,
Dude, I've had a fan come up and do the exact same things like, your burnout was perfect. I'm like,
10 out of 10.
Did you see my burnout?
the
What?
frame is bent.
How about that picture you post a picture of you in your car the week after when you got in the dirt bike wreck and his face looked like the car?
Yeah.
yeah, I had a bad dirt bike wreck.
You know what's so funny is everyone messages me like, "Let me drive that car," and I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, it's so entertaining when you're in your car. Like you do send it. I love it.
Yeah, no one else should drive that thing ever at any point,
don't
even
think
moving it
they
around
can.
the shop.
I don't think they can.
The entertainment factor is too high when he gets in that thing.
Yeah, so the diesel burnouts.
Oh boy.
I actually asked, I had Andrew from Skids for Kids on. I was like, what do you think of diesel burnouts? And he tried to dodge the question a little bit because he didn't want he was like,
Is it the heat?
All right, guys, I'm going to interrupt this video real quick to talk about our new merch. Got 3 brand new shirts on the website for pre-order. I'll have them available in Indy, but if you can't get there, check these things out. We got the brand new recycling logo on the front. Plant more trees on the back. This one's awesome, guys. Redesigns from shirts that we already had. Cooper head gasket in gold now. Super awesome look. And then we got the Bogetti Nothing But Sauce red. Really awesome shirts. Guys, go check them out on the website. CooperBogetti.com. Link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Back to the video. Do you think that you will completely switch to gas or burnout cars?
No. Not at
No.
all.
At any point?
Absolutely not. No, so here's
You think
kind
you
of
should?
Here's kind of what we were fighting there. So every time, because obviously I have the shop during the day. Well, it's like every event right now, everything we do, it's like work throughout the day, then go at night, and we're like trying to get stuff done at night. And for a long time, it was me by myself. So I'm like putting these trucks together. We're trying to fit it in the shop schedule. I'm like, let's get, and so I never really got to finish the project. It was always like, let's get it running, and boom, Cleetus and Cars here, do a burnout. And the worst part is, I went to like another event that we helped put on in Daytona and did like 4 burnouts with this truck. Flawless. Blew tires, burned them down. I was like, this is awesome.
Lost all the footage.
Next Cleetus and Cars, blows the motor. I'm like, well, that's it. I'm done.
Dude, it's like a curse.
Yeah.
Have you ever blown a set of tires at a Cleetus and Cars?
Yes, several times. Yeah.
But you had to stop in between.
The truck would stop in between. Yeah, it would start bogging down. So, but we're working on, when I get the engine back, I wasn't going to build the 6.0 do burnouts anymore, but I've got an idea that I think will fix it, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What's the idea?
Well, it's just a lot of ideas. But I'm going to have time where I can really sit down with it. I'm not going to rush it, and I'll make it happen where I'll finally finish it.
I feel like it was so turned up. Yeah, and
it was,
by the way, your last minute thing, that's completely you.
I was going to say,
he does that.
Yeah.
We were texting and he was like, I have hours. Like, I'm counting the hours until I have to leave because of how close it's got.
This is what happens. I'll be like, man, like a week is left. I'm like, we're ready to go. Everything's good. And I'll like go drive it on the trailer and just the transmission blows out of the side of the truck. Like, what just happened? Like, it was perfect. And then now it's like, well, now we got to rebuild the transmission, or now we got to do this. And it's like, this is my life. This is just a story of my life.
Yeah, like your Ranger for Danger Ranger loads it on the truck for Bristol. It's got water in the oil.
Dude.
So he Blue Devils it at the
You don't even know
track,
what happened
and then
the
he
track.
gets the fastest lap time of the whole event.
You don't even know what happened. We get all Blue Deviled. We start the truck up. It runs for an hour with the Blue Devil in it. Yeah. Shut it off, change the oil, go to start it. Nothing. We're like, what's going on? Nothing. No, it doesn't do anything.
Click.
The rain from the night before got into the lock cylinder and screwed up the theft deterrent system. And so the truck would not start. So we are like taking the steering column apart, blowing it out and stuff. Finally, it starts. And we're like, don't shut it off. Just leave it running. We got a few hours to the race. Don't shut it off. Yeah. That's my luck, though. It's just
you definitely have like some weird luck with your cars at our events.
Yeah. So, but we're getting that down.
The Ranger stuff is tough because you have such a commitment into this vehicle, like a personal one, and they're like naturally kind of junk because it kind of has to be because you're not going to go too crazy.
Mine was a nice,
but Ranger. Like with wiring, like any little wiring issue could just like done.
Yeah,
and it's so tough because there's that like you're just kind of jumping, like you're kind of playing that fine line of it. Like with a race car, you can fix it.
But with Rangers,
the Rangers are pretty reliable.
Tough.
I mean,
maybe I just have bad luck and I'm weird.
I've got some weird stuff happen to mine, but for the most part, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
is there going to be another Ranger Danger?
There's definitely going to be another Danger Ranger at the Freedom Factory. Never again on dirt.
I don't know why. I think it's. I had a great time. I think it was great.
Man,
I think it was great.
I don't know.
I mean, I can see why.
I guess I'm not going to say never.
Yeah,
the fans probably loved it.
Fans loved it.
I can't imagine.
Most viral race.
Yeah,
it was all over the place, but it was pretty dangerous.
I'd be curious how Bristol feels about that.
You know, Bristol said that they were like, well, this isn't the worst race we've had as far as danger. Good. They said that they had to red flag a race just because the drivers were being so crazy. I don't know if it was like some pro stock or some decently fast race, and they were like, there were so many crashes they just had to stop the race, just be done with it because people were being so dangerous. And we didn't get that.
We were not. I remember watching the restarts after though, and they like you just see these Rangers, and normally in the Crown Vics we're maybe 2 or 3 wide, maybe 4 on the start.
Yeah.
Everybody in the Rangers just like split like ants, and there was like 6 wide.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it's so easy to go 6 wide at Bristol.
Yeah, it was just like, oh my. What's
especially with a little
doing?
Ranger. I mean, they're kind of like smaller than a Crown Vic. Like width wise, like they're pretty small.
And they're such. And the Rangers too. What kind of like it makes it interesting is some of the Rangers are on such a different scale. You've got 4 cylinders compared to 6 cylinders out there. It's like a 40, 50 horsepower difference. And so these guys can be in the front. Now you're trying to get around them.
Yeah.
So it really makes it interesting at the start.
Yeah, because we invert the field too, so all the slow guys start in the front, which just makes it insane.
It's weird. Every race,
They just get passed and crashed into right away.
Why we have
maybe we should invert like half the
first
field.
lap.
I don't know, maybe, but weird. Like every race. So Garrett usually qualifies mid pack to back.
Here we go.
This is since they started inverting the field. So I really, when he wasn't inverting the field, guy was like top 3.
Yeah.
Field gets inverted. 22nd qualifier.
Does like a qualifying lap that
I
stops.
qualified 6th, 5th, and inverted, so I was in the back.
Or it just seems like anytime I qualify in the top 3, we're inverting the field.
Oh, so you're kind of seeing a pattern start to form.
Actually, we've been inverting the field like always because the first time I inverted it.
It was since what? Yeah, we've done it ever since the first one. The first, the last year's Ranger race, I think it was the first time you did it.
Yeah, because the problem is you get a guy like Kevin who's going to qualify first, and then you put him in the front, he'll lead the whole race.
Yeah.
He'll end up lapping people in the first 5 laps.
It's boring. So
if there's not cautions, Kevin will lap someone very quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I went
sure.
and did stadium trucks, and they invert the field.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the hell do you guys invert the field? And they're like, because then there's passing the whole race. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, why did I ever think of that?
That's true, yeah.
Robbie Gordon.
Well, it's pretty much drag racing. We invert the ladder. So you race the slow guy, the fastest guy races the slow guy first.
Yep.
Pretty similar concept on that instead of like top 2 people race second, third.
Yeah, so there is an advantage to that in qualifying first, but actually you get the biggest disadvantage at our race.
You
for
do, but
qualifying
I
first.
still like always try to push in qualifying because I want to know what it can do. I want to know what the car can do, and I'm never gonna slack off because also you've talked like you might just not do it in one race.
Some of these races coming up, I'm gonna have to not invert so that people don't start
or
sandbagging.
even like they do, like you've seen the dice roll they do, right? That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
creative and stuff, and like just different stuff you could do.
Yeah, chip draw for where you kind of podium or you ladder. You could kind of just mix it up so people don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea to do it that way too.
It would make it interesting because people would just be anywhere, but it's kind of the same drag racing mentality of it.
Yeah, it's just fun to put the fast guys behind the slow guys.
It is. It makes it interesting.
Yeah, because then they immediately have to work their hardest right off the kick.
Exactly.
Make them have to work for it.
Do a race where it's like wheels are 25 and up, Donk Master 500.
You've been hanging out with James.
Ours has been waiting for this, bud.
I have no plans to do a donk race.
Are you worried
Not
about running
opposed.
out of Crown Vics?
Yeah, there's gonna be a
I'm
time
not worried
where
about running out of Crown Vics at all.
Do you guys remember when we first went and bought the Crown Vic?
Yes.
And I'll never forget.
Were you at that auction?
I've been to an auction before.
there,
Chad
right?
loves them.
Yeah, we were
This
there
is
with
Chad.
Yeah,
Remember
that was
when
same day.
like there was one car we're buying these cars from like $700 to like $1,100.
We're like, damn.
and then Garrett
It's
like
expensive.
there's this one that was like 14, and Garrett's like, nope, not doing it, not doing it. We let it go. The next auction, everything doubled.
Yeah.
He goes back to buy the rest of the cars. He goes, they're all over $2,000 now.
Yeah. Remember when Chad panicked while he's bidding on that
Chad
one?
panicked on one and lost the bid.
For $1,000. And now we pay at least $3,000 a car.
Yeah.
I think total it's gotta be $8,000 in every Crown Vic.
They do like, and you guys
8 to 10.
really do like,
Roll cage.
it is so different now because like we just got in those cars. If you remember, we were on the original tires. We didn't even change tires. And like now you guys go through them like radiators if they need them, intakes, tires, brakes. Like if they need something, they
they get full
everybody's pretty
rundown.
equal.
Yeah, if your car had bald tires, you were racing on bald tires.
Put the bald tires on the
you're like-
inside.
you look at your tires and be like, damn. Thank you, Nitto Tire. Love you, Nitto Tire.
Do there like what kind of variation is there in cars like after this many? Like is there ones that are even standout or are they just
So-
like that tightly?
Yeah, so every car gets raced around the track, and we don't record the lap time and like compare it to them all. But I can tell you that at the Freedom 500, the qualifying, the entire field was within 1 second,
damn.
which is, it's still a pretty big spread for a small track. But you know, a lot of that's driver. It's anyone's race.
A lot of
with
those
these
guys, a
cars.
lot of people get in those cars. They don't practice, or they're.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get into a car. I usually don't practice. I don't have good luck in practice, so I just kind of don't do that. And so when we go, I just go straight out for qualifying.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What's the lap time at
amazing
the
how
Freedom
similar they
Factory
are.
then? Like 23 seconds?
No, it's down in
24?
the 18s.
Oh, it is for the Crown Vic.
Somebody ran it. I think 19's on the Crown Vic.
Oh.
18's are the Rangers.
It's 1890s now.
Really?
1880s, yeah. Alex
Didn't know
Bowman,
that.
I think, went like at 1870 or something. He's still got the record. I could actually get the Freedom Factory lap times for that.
He's a consistent driver. If you follow, I followed him because I think we were in a race together. I think me and him were in the Mullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I followed his lap time, and I was like, man, this guy is just.
That was when he was Garrett's partner, and Alex kept the car nice, led the
And then
race.
I blew it twice. It's actually insane when a NASCAR driver comes because they are on another level. Remember go-karting with Bowman?
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy, I mean, he gets paid to do this.
Yeah.
You know, but you always think, oh, NASCAR driver, the car is doing most of the work. Dude would just kill us on any go-kart. And it's like, how? Like,
Like, how does this happen? We're equal
how is
cars.
it this big of a gap?
He has so many hours in like simulators and in cars and
Well, it's
like
Kevin,
actually
like,
going
like,
fast.
Look at Kevin. Like, Kevin
Yeah.
crushes it. Like, no matter where we go, he's always usually up there.
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah,
Might
so-
have to pull a spark plug wire off his car for Indy.
yeah, that's
care of
probably
that.
not a bad idea
Dude, I forgot to tell you, I got you a present.
for Indy or for now.
He got. Wait.
You gotta talk more towards
you
the
gotta-
mic, dude.
I got you a
Might just
present.
bother.
Or talk into it at least. Talk
I was
towards
selling
it.
these shoes, and like it was a huge, like it was a big,
Well, he
big
thought
size.
you'd like them for Indy because they're nice. They're
and like you're pretty. What size you wear again?
13?
13.
Yeah.
God dang.
I thought it was 17.
Damn, bro, let me get those. These look like the ones you got me before.
Thing's the size of a Miata.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's your size.
Holy
You definitely couldn't drive a Miata with that shoe.
Damn.
That is
Wait, are
bright.
these used?
No, they're brand new.
It's
No,
dirty.
that's
They're used.
Oh,
bud.
they're 100% used.
They're not
are
used.
used.
Yes, it is.
Where'd you buy them?
Dude, I bought them at a store.
From what store? Was it in the
What
flea market?
store?
No,
What store?
it was Bell's.
Red Barn Market.
Nah, it was not Bell's.
Dude, they're not used.
What do they say on the bottom?
Brother.
Boost.
I mean, I've tried them on.
Brother, these are 100%. Oh, actually, the bottom's pretty clean.
I'm telling you, they're not used.
Those overstock
Damn.
Kanye shoes that they're not selling anymore.
Yeah.
What
Bad.
do they do with all that image?
I think they
That
just
actually fit me pretty
took a
good.
big bath
No
on that.
way.
Yeah.
I told you they.
Wow, that's
Put my foot on your
sure.
There's a normal one for reference.
Oh, there you go.
Basically identical.
Yeah, your new slippers.
Those are good driving shoes.
Ain't gonna miss the clutch pedal.
You won't
You
miss.
should wear these.
Won't burn your
Thanks.
feet.
Thanks, buddy.
Dude, the other day I had to drive my car with my regular shoe on because my foot's all swollen. Like my ankle's like massive, and I was like trying to stage, and I was hitting both pedals with my feet with my one foot because it's so like they're so tight together.
Yeah.
And I was trying to 2-foot drive, but I was like literally just 1 foot on both.
How long have you had this injury?
It happened at the reunion.
Dude.
Oh, okay. So we
Every
haven't, I
time
haven't
he
seen you
gets
since
hurt,
then.
this guy, you milk it a little bit.
Remember the toe? Who
Yeah.
remembers the toe?
The toe was a
Oh,
bad
the
The
toe.
deal.
toe was
For
really
years.
rough.
Looked
Then he,
like
claimed,
spaghetti.
then he claimed his dog hurt his knee.
Yeah. Oh, my
my
dog took my
dude.
knee out.
We're still
You're
in
out for
litigation.
months for that.
I'm
Months.
still suing her. I'm suing Jeremy because I got her from Jeremy, so it only makes sense.
That was out
Smart.
for months.
Smart.
The knee was a bad deal. And then after I hurt my ankle, I had to go to a wedding, like legitimately with a hurt ankle. So I was kind of hobbling around at this wedding, and it was a bad deal. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend crashing a scooter. Garza, I don't know how you
What
crash
happened?
so many things. I hit this little pothole, and the scooter stopped, and I didn't.
So you went over the bars.
I kind of went to the side of them, but like
Jake's
it.
done that before.
It happens.
Garza crashed today. on
Oh
his
yeah, I
pit bike.
crashed today.
Yeah.
today.
He has stitches from a week ago.
Are you gonna
Did
do
you stitch
anything?
that?
Because that's
Oh, you
definitely
didn't
gonna be a
stitch that.
scar.
No, they couldn't
They
stitch
Look,
it.
the whole half his eyebrow is gone.
I mean, that's gonna be a pretty good scar if you don't like.
His eyebrow was gone like that from
part
the
of the
moment
game.
the accident happened because the concrete tore his.
I heard
Yeah.
he flew through the air and his face completely broke his fall.
Well, the back of my head hit a tree, and then I flew like 40 feet on a sidewalk rolling.
40 feet.
40 feet.
Would have been great if they're like, we have to stitch it and just shave the whole eyebrow. Take the whole thing off.
Dude, and then this car pulls
Oh,
up.
no.
It's this lady. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm just leaking everywhere. I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." Andrew Stevens had like some PTSD moment. He's like hyperventilating like, on the ground.
Yeah, he goes, I thought he was dead. Comes out to me and tells
He's
me
like
that.
pouring water over his head. He's like,
You have to console
stress
him
for
after
you.
you crash.
yeah, I literally was. Like, you all right, dude?
I've seen too much in Arcadia.
The river got me.
That's pretty
Dude, so the flyover stuff, have you been trying to get your hands on like flying over in something real serious?
Oh, flyover?
'Cause-
Well, we had the Super Tucanos. And then we had the. Are you talking about like flying over?
yeah, flying
National
over
Anthem?
at the stuff. At
And then
the
we had
police
the.
cars.
Those were pretty sweet.
We had the flyover that got canceled because of the weather.
That was the That was
The
the
Army.
paratroopers, right? They were gonna come out of it, weren't they?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
I could parachute into a Cleetus and cars once?
100%.
All right, cool.
And then we had the Cubs fly over for the Freedom 500, but they had to be pretty high. You know, like to do the right flyover, they got to file with the FAA and stuff. Otherwise, the Cubs had to follow the minimum safe altitude. So that's why it's kind of lame because they're like at 1,000 feet AGL.
These little tiny planes. All the way up
Yeah,
there.
I saw them coming at the beginning of the national anthem, and then they
and then
flew right
they
over at the
ended.
end.
They were still flying over.
What's
I-
like your dream flyover then?
Dude,
Oh,
remember that?
B2?
B2.
It happens at like
Remember we saw
know.
them?
They
fly
flew over your
for the
house.
Super-
Yeah.
for the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
they did fly over the Freedom
Yeah.
Factory. No
Yeah.
one was there though.
Yeah, I know. I don't
Flew over
know
your
what it
house.
would take to get a B2.
It can't take that much to get
over.
like a B2 or something.
Yeah, right.
I think they're out of Missouri, right?
Like it really
Super
can't.
Bowl's
Yeah.
getting them.
So they're not too far
think
from.
they're
I mean,
just going to
it's the
everywhere?
military. We pay for the military to do these things. It's not like
All the taxes
it's
I
not-
paid my whole life would cost that flight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've reached out to several places, and like always get random emails like, "Hey, I can set up a flyover for you," and then we'll follow up. And really, it's not that easy. Like, I don't know.
How's it not that easy?
Like the guy who said that he could set it up couldn't actually set it up because there's so many levels
You
to
have to
getting
go
it
through.
done.
Really?
That's what
The-
we've experienced. The Army guys had it dialed, but then the freaking weather. So it's like,
Oh yeah. You need a Chinook.
I wonder if anybody
yeah.
is
Just
there
buy
anybody
something.
like local that has like an old retired
There is a
jet?
guy with a P-51 at the track or at the Sarasota.
I'm saying
but-
like a retired jet, like somebody like they
Yeah.
you can. I mean, where?
Oh,
Because
100%.
maybe you get a private pilot to do it.
yeah, no, I mean you can, but the problem is they got to go like file with the FAA and all that stuff. So it's really a process that no pilot wants to do.
Yeah,
And getting one from the military would be the best thing because it'd be the coolest, and they can kind of do whatever they want.
what
to
they
do.
want. Yeah.
I just got to get to that point. So if anyone watching this has the plug on a B2, hit us up.
What if you can just kind of, you know,
And let me ride with you.
finagle something where they have to fly over for a different reason? Call in like some.
I don't
Like,
know.
oh, there's
You got to call in something hefty to get a B2 on your location.
in the U.S. on U.S. soil to fly over.
Man,
like they just kind of time it right.
I remember when that B2 flew over though, when we were outside.
There's two other planes with it too.
It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was
They had like the big carrier with
They had
it.
a B2 and a B52 and then something else.
I think it was a carrier, wasn't it? There was a massive carrier that came by, and it was like just huge.
Yeah, maybe a Globemaster or
Yeah.
something.
Really, nothing that makes you feel more patriotic than like a flyover
Oh.
by some like U.S.
Dude.
military equipment.
Remember the one on the Daytona 500 this year?
Yes,
It
they did like an
was
air show.
Sick.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Daytona does one every year,
Dude,
don't
that
they?
was scary.
It was,
Yeah.
Or somewhere out
They would
there.
like
They
they're
scared
like
us.
gone, and they're like, all right, they're gone, and then all of a sudden like, boom,
Right
and like
behind you.
right, yeah,
I
you
think
didn't
there
know
were
they were
6 of
coming.
them. So they
Yeah.
would like confuse you.
Yeah.
And then they just come cracking over and it literally would
Dude,
make your hair
the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see the Blue Angels when I was a kid once, right? Blue Angels? The Blue Devils.
Yeah, Blue Angels.
Yeah, those guys are wild.
Yeah,
they fly those things so close to each other.
I know.
I watched a thing on the guy was talking about like landing and stuff and how they land. Like he was like the front runner, the captain of the team or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, I'd have the guys do this. Then they'd say down boss. Then the next down boss. And he's like,
5 planes at the same time.
and he's like, literally, it was like something you should never do in an aircraft. This was something that you should never do. But he said we made it work. He's like, it was crazy.
Well, you guys have, all three of you have now flown aircraft, and you see how hard it is just to hold altitude.
Dude, I'm over here like.
Yeah, I was gonna say Garza was flying.
So, yeah.
Did you fly? I haven't flown an aircraft.
Can you notify?
helicopter,
Can you notify the county when Garza's flying?
They're like way east.
Like warn the
Far
county.
away.
Just imagine maybe double the speeds we were going. It's way harder to hold altitude, and then they do it like so close.
What do you
But
think
is
about,
it when you have that much power? The power they have is insane.
No,
Because it just
it's the
harder.
power doesn't make a difference. It's so hard.
Have you seen any UFOs up there? You know any Tic Tacs or anything?
anything
I've seen
weird?
some weird stuff at night, like
Were you
flying
tired, though?
along.
That's what gets me.
I was not
Yeah.
tired, but I've been flying back from like Utah or something, flying at night. I've seen some weird lights, but it's like, how do you not know it's just another aircraft?
It's not.
It
is, but it's not ours.
There's a frequency called guard that like everybody's on. It's the radio that you just are constantly listening to in case someone has an emergency, 1215. And pilots go on there and say all this crazy stuff. And we were flying the other night and it was just normal flight. I think I was flying back from Lexington and I had George and a couple guys in the back and on guard. All of a sudden, like people started like just blowing up talking about this thing out in the west in the sky. And I guess
chase it?
Tesla launched a small rocket or something.
Just a little gun.
Yeah, so like pilots have all these discussions about like certain things that pop up. Like there was chatter for maybe 45 minutes, people just like talking about it, and then just everything settles down.
How does that go
I didn't
when they
see it.
like launch a rocket? Like, could that potentially hit an aircraft if you just have
No, so they set up a TFR,
Okay, so they do
temporary
separate
flight
TFR.
restriction,
Okay,
yeah. And they're huge,
yeah.
and they go all the way up.
Well, they were launching the one in like, they just launched that one in basically Mexico. Was the
Is that where it's at? The edge
yeah? It's
of
like on the
Texas?
border of Mexico. I'm like, what is so if it lands in Mexico, the U.S. government doesn't get like to harass them about it? It's like, oh no, it's fine. Landed in a different country, but like it's like 2 miles off the border
I
of Mexico.
wonder. Yeah, maybe they have some jurisdiction if it falls into on their land, they can go get it. I don't know.
Yeah, what was it, the Starship?
Where did all the parts for that land?
It just blew up and it
Yeah,
landed
but-
in the Gulf.
Oh, okay.
They'll probably wash
probably
up
planned
in the
it so
hurricane.
it'll-
It was supposed to land like by Hawaii, but it landed in the Gulf. So
That is insane.
Little
Imagine
missed
trying to
trajectory.
calculate
Yeah, this is a safe
with the
zone.
rotation of the Earth where the safe zone's going to be.
yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Be a lot of math.
Wouldn't like that near my house.
Seen like the cartel flying planes, like on like TikTok or any stuff.
Yes.
Like homemade.
Like, yeah, how?
With no instruments.
Just
Yeah.
like
They don't
How
even
are
have
they
an
doing
airspeed.
that?
like cardboard.
Like,
Brother,
how are they
just-
doing that?
Just really good pilots.
Just the phone GPS.
No, I'm serious. Those
Yeah.
pilots are phenomenal.
It's
like-
Some of
wild.
that looks sketchy.
To fly instrument with, where you can't see without instruments is, I mean, I don't, it's impossible, but these old guys who've been flying for so long can do it, which is crazy. Like they can't, I'm not going to say they can do it. They can
Get by.
they can stay straight and level for a lot longer than I could. Like, you guys have fun with Joe, like my CFI.
Yeah.
That dude can probably do some crazy stuff without instruments, but like it's so hard when you get blinded by weather to really know what your attitude is. So for them to do it with no instruments and then land in a 25-foot wide runway
in
with
the jungle,
in
like
the jungle with
dirt
mud.
runway.
I'm like, bro.
They have to calculate like the drugs weight that they put in there to take
What's
off.
that movie, American Made?
Yeah,
Oh, such
Yeah.
a
Tom
fire
Cruise.
movie.
He
was
crashes
awesome.
into the house.
He gets out covered in cocaine. He's just like, here's 10 grand, give me your bike, and just takes off.
And that plane is like legendary. It's like it's the fastest piston prop plane, Piper Aerostar. So that's a great movie.
Yeah, it was cool.
Dude, did you hear about I was reading about a Cessna the other day, and a guy they delivered one from California to Hawaii. Cessna.
Oh, I
was
see
like, that man's wild.
Wasn't it 17-hour flight?
Just in a Cessna?
17 hours nonstop.
Yeah, because you're going to Hawaii. There ain't nowhere you can stop.
17-hour nonstop flight.
And
how they did the fuel and
bladders,
stuff.
big bladders.
Really? Yeah.
that sounds terrifying.
Doing what, like
That's sketchy.
100 knots?
So if I had to guess, I know nothing about it, but I'm sure the guy went up like pretty high in altitude and maybe had some oxygen with him.
So he kind of just
So
let
he
it
could just
fall.
conserve fuel. Like you just burn a lot less fuel. The higher you go. So he's probably just conserving fuel. I don't know. That's crazy.
Saying he went up and
I guarantee you he's
That's
wearing a life
insane.
jacket.
Yeah.
nah.
I don't even know if it'd be worth wearing a life jacket.
I was gonna say, I mean, what's the point? Then you're out there in the middle of the biggest ocean in the world, just like.
Probably had a raft, a life jacket, some food, and a lot of.
But weight is so important too, so you can only like.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to leave the raft. Sorry.
Dude, for real. And those 172s, they can't really hold much weight. Like you wouldn't be able to put 4 people in one and then top it off with fuel. So I don't know. Maybe the guy was really light, and all his stuff was really light.
He just had a bunch of like survival gear. Maybe
I'm really curious about it now.
Maybe they shipped some parts of it.
yeah.
We don't need this.
They shipped the seats.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense to ship some stuff, but he was just alone for 18 hours, 17 hours in a Cessna, just like over an ocean.
Do you know what the longest flight ever is?
No.
It's like, it's either 40 days or 2 months. I think it's a Cessna 172. They were doing, and they did this forever ago. I think it's 2 months.
They just never got out of the plane? Like, they just kept flying?
So it was 2 guys in the
Didn't
plane.
shower?
They just they lived in the plane.
When you're
they
that
could
high,
never stop.
in that high altitude, you don't actually
And-
get stink. Like,
Oh,
you
no,
don't
that
need
And they
shower
were
up there.
flying along with the truck, refueling it every 3 hours or whatever for 2 months. I gotta look it up.
But like, why? That's like the guy that did
Set the
the
record.
Yeah.
the guy that did the donuts there was a BMW that did like most donuts, and there was
Yeah.
a fuel car doing donuts with him every now and then.
Yeah,
I
that
almost
video's
broke
cool.
that record.
I mean, that was around a Canadian.
Dude, 64 days, 22 hours and 19 minutes
Man,
That's
in a
wild.
Cessna 172.
Like, you land and the world is just totally like, what happened while I was gone?
64 days in a
When did they
Cessna
do that?
172.
Must have some good
They have a
movies.
They
date?
did it a long time
well, people
ago.
do the similar things on those like sailboats where they sail around like Antarctica.
I seen some
And
lady
that's
just got done like
nuts.
paddling from like across the Atlantic.
Yeah, people are
something
wild
like-
with that stuff.
1959 is when that happened.
59. I guess there really wasn't much going on back
don't
then.
Probably a
believe
brand
it.
new Cessna
How
just
the
came
time-
out.
I don't believe that.
Cessna just launched this plane, and these guys are like, "We're doing."
We're going for 2 months.
Speaking of records, aren't you gonna do like a dirt bike jump record?
I'm not going to do a dirt bike jump record.
Oh.
I do want to do a world record, the Freedom Factory, of some kind of jump.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure what
I got a
yet.
couple world records.
Dude, your boy Jim just.
See him with the limo jump?
Yeah, he just got the
we
limo
could definitely
one.
beat that. So if you want to do that, I'll beat it. It's just up to you to let
Limo
me.
jump?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let him have it for long. Just like
Yeah, just do it, like,
immediately
in a
try
couple
to take
weeks.
it.
Just yeah. Did
Just
you do it
two.
officially, like with Guinness?
It was
don't
at
know.
LS Fest.
Oh,
West, so it
maybe
was a big deal, I don't
They,
know.
they usually make that stuff pretty official.
But I already
Guinness is
mapped
weird
it out. I
about
could
that
come from
stuff.
the back 10 acres, jump into the track, and there's plenty of time to stop. We'll just build
What
a
about the
little.
landing?
Well, we'll build a landing.
That's gonna
You gotta
hurt.
Build a landing. I'm not.
Yeah, you
just gonna
definitely have
jump
to
the
build a
flat.
landing. Yeah,
I don't think it'll go good. Unless there's something else I could
How you
jump
gonna
to set
get
a world
that
record.
fast?
I don't think it's gonna go that
Has
good.
we ever jumped a fire truck? What about your
concerned.
fire truck?
Jump
It's too
jump
heavy.
over the fire truck or jump the fire
Jump
truck.
the fire truck.
Okay,
Dude, jump a school bus.
I'll be willing to let you jump my fire truck.
Yeah. Do a school bus.
dude, did you hear Adam on Roman's podcast say the worst injury he's ever taken was the Crown Vic jump that he did?
Oh yeah,
I was there for that, yeah.
That was bad. I remember that.
Yeah, no, that was that actually hit pretty hard. I remember seeing the crumples in the side of
cased
the
it.
car.
They like hit the jump backwards, didn't they? And it
he
just
hit it backwards and Oh, was it when he hit the face of the landing?
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh yeah, he hit the face of the jump.
I think that's when the majority of the damage happened.
And then it like landed too, so like stopped with some like it was pretty high up in the rear, so then it kind of like
yeah,
that was
and
bad.
And then
though.
that vehicle was stolen from my house.
that vehicle has some history. Nobody ever even got it from
I
impound.
didn't think it could drive. Is it really still an impound?
Probably. I mean,
I remember we were all
where else
sitting
would it
there,
go?
and wasn't it Josh that watched him?
saw
Josh
it.
was like, I saw the car leave, but I didn't think nothing of it.
It was during the
he
Super
comes
Bowl.
in.
Yeah, we were all there watching the Super Bowl.
He's
There
like,
was-
someone just took that orange Crown Vic.
We're like-
No, he didn't know. No one knew what car it was. He was like,
Oh, yeah, it was
just
kinda
left.
revved.
Well, that whole story is one that just all together seems like something that just doesn't even make
Oh yeah,
sense.
because that
it
building
was
burned down.
great. Well, that was the
Oh,
whole deal.
yeah.
It was the same guy.
Yeah, a guy
right.
burnt
He-
the building.
yeah.
I'll lay it
I think
out.
we need
I'll
the
lay
full,
it.
yeah.
I'll lay it out. It's Super Bowl 2021,
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
February
a couple years ago.
4th.
It was
if I
when it was
remember
in
right.
Tampa, I think.
It was after the
Yeah, 'cause
flyover.
we had
Loftus
Streetcar
was here.
Takeover guys were in town.
Remember
everybody.
Nick Savage and the fight a guy?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's
SCU.
February 4th, and we're all hanging out watching the thing, and one of our buddies comes in. He's like, "Who left?" And we're all like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, someone was like revving some car, and then they left." And I was like, "Huh." We kind of like looked around, and then we're like, "Oh, whatever." Then like just a few minutes later, we see this haze in the sky, and a property like what, a mile and a half
About a
from
mile
my
as
house
the crow flies. Yeah,
is
about a
just
mile.
on fire, and it's a huge flame. So
It's a structure fire. It was huge.
so we're like,
Fire
holy
alarm for
crap,
sure.
like that's weird, you know. And then so we kind of checked that out, and obviously it got
With a
called in.
drone.
Yeah,
Kyle had his
Kyle
drone
had
up
a
in the
Yeah,
air.
he was flying his
We
drone.
were
Flew it
watching
over.
it.
So we checked that out, and then we're like, all right, crazy. We go back, watch the game, and Bucks won.
Oh yeah,
Bucks,
whoop the Chiefs.
yep, yep. And we sent our Kansas City friends packing.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
And then
See,
the next morning, one of the 1320 guys who's staying in my guest, like the barn where there's the, you know, the apartment, we call it. He's like, hey, that orange Crown Vic that was out here yesterday is gone. And I'm like, what? So I look around the back, it's gone. What had happened was
Not your car. Trevor Motion Auto's car.
Trevor Motion Auto left it there after Adam crashed it.
Yep.
And what had happened was this guy who I think we kind of
We ended up
we
figuring
eventually
out
found out who it
and
was.
what happened.
But the
He got his
police
truck stuck, right?
police did nothing about it. This guy, this is the theory. Not 100%, but the guy apparently went and was off-roading behind in the construction. It's now a neighborhood behind my house. Lit this place on fire and then drove, got his truck stuck behind my house.
Well, no, he got his truck stuck behind where the fire was.
Okay.
I went and
behind where the
looked
fire
at
was.
it, and
Yeah.
it was back there.
Wasn't he playing
And
with the
then
construction
he went and got
equipment?
the construction
Yeah, yeah.
equipment. He was trying to pull his truck out with the
Dude,
equipment.
Yeah, wasn't he using like a,
He was, they
like
had
a
remember
dozer or
they're
something?
building
Guy
all
was
the
in full
neighborhoods, so,
panic
like, he went
mode.
and grabbed
Yeah.
like the dozer
So
or
it's
something.
dirt work mode right now. So they're in dirt work, and they actually built this big berm behind my house, but the fence wasn't up yet. So this guy like gets a dozer, tears a bunch of shit up, lights a building on fire. His truck's so stuck, he decides to go, you know, looking.
and it's
right?
far enough away from the fire. Like there was like a tree line, but it was literally like the fire was here, tree line, truck stuck, and
Yeah.
that's like how it was. Like,
Well, they're
So-
building like 4,000 homes, so there's
Yeah.
plenty of space and dirt.
Yeah, and all we have is this video of the car leaving my house. We don't have any of him getting to it because it was positioned on the back side of my apartment. He climbs over the hill in the back of my house, gets in the car. This thing's been sitting there for 6 months. It starts after being
right up.
crashed,
Crown Vic.
fires right up, and he drives it, goes up to my gate. The gate opens and he leaves. And now it's a day later, so I'm like, holy crap! So I call the police, and they're like, call us back like 10 hours later. They're like, hey, we found the car at Walmart, and they would not show us any footage. They wouldn't even tell us what was
that's right,
going
because
on.
Walmart had a bunch of cameras there.
Yeah,
like they
so
wouldn't show us anything.
Somehow we caught word of the story, and they never told us if they arrested the guy or anything. They're like, you can come get the car. And they wouldn't even tell me anything. They were like, we can only talk to Trevor about it because he was the rightful owner.
I ended up knowing the guy. I ended up figuring out who the guy was. He's like a local guy around here.
JH knew him.
Yeah.
Of course.
The guy who
I know the guy that stole
stole
it.
the
He
Crown
ended up,
Vic.
yes. Like,
but he didn't get in trouble, right?
he never got, like, they took him to jail,
Oh, they did.
but he never got
For
in
the
trouble.
fire, though.
For the fire. But then he got out, he was fine.
Well, let's not forget, too, that
Because they had to come drag his truck out, and like a tow company had to come get his truck because the construction company called and said some guy left their truck.
Yeah.
And it was all, so it's not like,
That's how we found out who it was.
yes.
Because his truck was still there, and they found him and like dog tracks.
And there was
in
dog
my
hair
yard.
all in the car, remember?
Yeah, and there was a dog in the car. So like,
It was
the evidence
wild.
was clear, but somehow this guy didn't get in trouble.
well, the Crown Vic had a scavenge pump with the turbo that had ripped off. So
So the Crown Vic blew.
Oil
the
up.
dump,
Crown Vic
that's
just
right.
had no oil in it, so he had to dump it at the Walmart. He couldn't make it very far.
Made about 8 miles, 7 miles. Or
Yeah, he did
pretty
not go
far.
far.
He did it far enough.
And he
It was-
parked the Crown Vic, like legitimately actually parked it. It was like in a spot at Walmart too. Weird thief.
Unbelievable.
I don't think he really was intended to be a thief. It was just like he got into a bind and just, he was obviously a thief, but it's not like he was around stealing cars.
Sounds like he's an arsonist.
He's
a thief.
and some other things.
Sounds like his plan went well.
Wow.
It's a great dog owner. Took him on the whole journey.
There was dog food trail the whole way. He had dog food.
I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, you got to take your dog at least as an accomplice.
Is the dog getting
Wasn't his
trouble?
girlfriend
now
with
is the
him, too?
dog? Yeah,
Dog's in trouble. For
dog's
sure.
in trouble for sure. That's a criminal dog.
He's a bad boy. Not a good
We
boy.
get Dog the Bounty Hunter on this case.
Dude, when dog
Why didn't we
was
think of
down,
that? We should have called Dog the Bounty Hunter. Dude, he would have
No, I
found
call
him in
the
no
modern
time.
day dog bounty hunter whistling diesel. Get him on the case.
He's the guy. Remember when there was that missing person in Florida and dog was down here and he was just like
Yes.
door to door, just
Yeah.
it
was in,
just
like,
Florida. He
Sarasota,
was
wasn't
just
it?
door to door.
Praying he would hit my dog.
But like this is how it works. What 8 million people live in this state? Like just start
Get
going
on the
door
dirt
to
bike, dog. Let's
Started
go.
acting real suspicious.
I think it was around our towns in like Sarasota or something. Or was it when there was that murder? There was that murder homicide deal that happened.
Yeah, and he was in the
One guy's
Everglades.
name.
They were looking
Yep.
for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that
can't think
was
of her
Hiding
name.
the Everglades.
It was a bad spot to hide.
That guy, did he ever get caught?
They found him dead in the swamp.
Found parts of
They
him.
did find him, and they're like, we don't really know what happened. I think her parents were like, we don't know either.
Yeah, and I think his parents knew
Remember all
that
the
he was
theories?
there.
Yeah.
Crazy theories.
There was
Yeah.
like one where they thought there was a hand outside the garden. Like the
What?
parents were like feeding him or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. They thought he was in an underground lair. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, you've looked for missing people before, right?
yeah,
In aircraft?
yeah. I've done some search and rescue stuff.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
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 How's that?
A lot of searching.
A lot of searching.
It was after
It's actually-
the storm, right? Is that when you were
Yeah.
doing it?
Yeah, and like as the pilot, like I don't really do much of the looking. I just am like
Same
making
with
sure we're not gonna crash.
Yeah.
Because you don't want
That's fair.
to add a rescue to a rescue.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, mostly we just spotted, we were spotting people on rooftops. I'm not really in a position where I'm trained to like go set my skids on the roof of a house and tell people to hop in, which I'm
That's
sure
gotta be
we're capable of doing, but
Remember
like,
the guy that was helping us in the helicopter during the flood?
yeah,
That guy was wild, dude. He would
actually,
he was flying over, finding
Yeah.
people, pointing down to us.
yeah,
But
and then
he
we would
was
be able to go
ripping.
get him in boats.
Yeah.
I think one of the more intense ones was JH and I came up on a guy in a truck that had just gone off the road, and his truck, it was in a U-Haul van, or like a
right.
U-Haul truck, and the cab was in the water. There was water flowing through the driver's window, out the passenger window.
Yep. And the truck was
And-
like this, like it was about to flip.
It was so sketch. So we pull up, and there's water flowing over the road, maybe like this high, and so we put the skids down on the asphalt through the water, and like we're trying to communicate with this guy.
Didn't
And then we
speak
went
English.
and landed in the intersection, talked to this cop, and like they needed like equipment to get this guy out. So
Where
then,
was he?
so then we went to the other side of this
So-
flood, and
Where
we
was the
found
guy
him.
at?
So like
He's
there
in the
was-
truck. He's
Yeah,
sitting
the
there with
guy's
his
still
hands on the
going
wheel.
over him?
Yeah, the guy's still in it. So like there
Just
was a
too
cop,
petrified to move.
There was he just
petrified to
yeah.
move.
There was like a cop
Holy.
over here, and then there was linemen on the other side, and there's probably like a half mile of
Yeah.
water going across the road. Remember the linemen were treading
was
across?
super
It was
sketch, yeah.
crazy.
So then we talk to the linemen, I think, and then the linemen took a boom truck, and they were able to like.
One guy was walking the whole
point
thing
we
in
had
front of
left
the
the
truck.
scene. Yeah.
Just no instincts
like,
to get out of the car or
Dude,
anything.
if the water was rushing so hard, though, he would have been taken further away from the road, and like I don't know, he looked terrified. But there wasn't. What's that?
It was already bogged, bud.
The whole truck was
got him
underwater.
there.
So what's crazy,
They
and we experienced this and saw this during the flood. Like you're driving and you know you got to go, but you can't see the road.
Oh, it's so.
So
sketch.
you're like driving in 2 or 3. We did this in the army truck quite a bit, and you're just going and like you're just hoping the road's still there.
Yeah,
you don't know
because some pieces of the road it would be gone. There'd be like a 6 foot, just like.
Yep. So you drop into that, you are done. You're done.
And the videos are crazy too because like it's broad daylight, nice and clear and sunny out, and then it's just like this rushing water of a flood. Like normally you think like, oh, it's a storm and a hurricane and the flood, but like that's like calm out.
I don't think the river
flood.
actually crested for 7 or 10 days. Peace River took 10 days to crest. It got deeper after we left. They shut down all like it got deeper.
When we were doing rescue in the jet boats, we were in the tops of the trees. We were not like
people are trying to
navigate because you were actually in the tops of the trees. So it was so.
People were telling us
tight.
like, yeah, I'm trying to get back there, and they're like, you go down this driveway. I'm like, you don't understand. There is not a driveway. It's gone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at trees. I remember coming in this guy's yard, and like we're hitting something. I'm like, what the hell are we hitting? And it was like the roof of a car. And I was like, oh,
Did you leave your insurance?
Were you on the airboat?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that just the best vehicle to do it in? Just an airboat?
The jet boats were really good because they get in and out of stuff, but the airboats could kind of go like we could
Carry
travel
more people.
across the road, carry more people. So it kind of was the jet boats and the airboats were both equal.
Airboats sink easily too, so there was several
you have to be very
airboats
careful.
that sank while rescuing people, so they were getting rescued.
You really have to be careful and know how to operate. If you don't, you will. You have to be very careful.
Is having something loud of benefit, or would you want something quiet so you can hear people, but then people can hear you if you have something loud?
Probably.
So if you're in an airboat,
there's a lot of John boats. I bet John boat's probably the best.
John boat is probably the best
because you could put 3 or 4 or 5 people in a John boat, whatever, and like that was probably the best. Yeah,
but the jet boats, like we could bash
there faster
through trees and just bash them and cut through whatever. If there was just a huge tree in front of us, we could just like literally break it.
Yeah.
Does like the county have any provisions to really help people besides like an airboat?
Dude, it's actually super scary. After doing that, it's real scary to know like our government.
Like you're the one that has to help.
They're in a natural disaster like that. You better hope somebody around you has equipment. When we left that neighborhood that night, the National Guard shows up and they're like, we're here. And we had literally rescued dozens of people. And they're like, well, we're not getting any more calls. Everybody's been pretty much rescued. And like, they unload this John boat. They get in it. They're fully geared up. They go 15 feet. Prop hits a mailbox under the water. I was like, we just told him there's a mailbox there, but it's really scary. Like we had sheriffs on my boat 2 days later rescuing people in the neighborhood, and they're like, we don't have anything. Like people were coming from all over the state and bringing their boats here to try to rescue people.
What about like a hovercraft? Would that be a efficient?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Horrible vehicle for anything but looking cool. Looking like a badass.
Be wrong not to ask at least.
I love to give hovercrafts more credit, but
do you still have a hovercraft? I haven't seen it in a long time.
Dude, I got my 86 Scat.
Seen it.
Horrible vehicle. Did you see what Rich Rebuilds did with his with the jets? Like the little jet turbines like you put on your B2.
Yeah.
He put like 3 on a Scat.
Did it not help it at all?
I don't think it was very good. It's definitely like a hovercraft. It was more for looks.
Yeah. That's the only thing you do on hovercrafts. Look badass, make a lot of noise. Imagine like pulling up to rescue someone. There's water spraying. Like
I'll get the next one. Just go.
Yeah. That was actually interesting about the saving people, like doing, search and rescue, is we would pull up, and by the way, Manatee County Search and Rescue, they have some sweet equipment. But we would pull up to like people standing on their roofs, and they'd be like, nah, we're gonna wait it out.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, if they refuse help, you just keep going.
You're gonna wait it out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, several people.
I'm not saying that we don't have equipment, our counties and stuff, but they have to go through so many agencies to use them.
Yeah.
The red
like
flags.
they can't just jump in and go. they're like where I'm a civilian, I can just go and get somebody. They can't tell me no during that. Like we did a few things, and they were like, we can't tell you no, but we can't tell you yes. And
like Greg's the only one qualified to operate that thing, and he's not in today. So
it was
we're waiting
like that, or like they were waiting to hear back. It was crazy.
Well, even like when Sanibel Island, I think it is, it becomes like an island, like the
when
down
they
in
just did it. The bridge.
Well, the bridge goes down. Yeah, like what do you do in that situation?
Dude, so, I mean, it was a bad situation, but kind of a funny story what happened there with me and Dalton go down there. And we're fueling generators for this company. Well, Drew was doing it throughout the week. I went down the weekend. And so we were all done fueling. We're like, all right, we're going to go check where our buddies were. And we're like, go make sure they're good if they need any food or anything. Well, we took a wrong turn. So we're in my Army truck just driving. You're in an Army truck?
Oh.
Go on through, bud. No big deal. We're going and we're following. Me and Dalton were like, man, there's like a lot of... All we see are dump trucks right now. Like, what's going on? So we're like going over like the causeway, and we get to the other side, and I'm like, oh, the road ends. So we're in the Army truck, and they're all like bringing dirt to fill it back in. We're like, well, we're just gonna turn around and get out of here. But they just kept waving us through everywhere because they thought we were in the Army.
They're on the.
They're saluting you as you go by.
No, I didn't almost go over, but like
they're putting dirt to build the.
Yeah, they're rebuilding it.
I'm like, we're like in my semi style one. We're just like, I'm like, guys, sorry about that. We're gonna go back to the base.
Yeah, just saluting as he goes by. People are thanking him.
We were trying to get to one place one night, and I had Drew and everybody behind me with their airboats. Oh, they're in front of me. And they're like telling Drew and them, you have to turn around and go. And Drew moves, and they look at me, and they're like, come on, come through here. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm sorry, I'm not in the Army.
Dude, I remember flying over and seeing JH's military truck and a bunch of people on it.
Yeah.
And I was like there was a lot of people. I don't know how many.
We filled the whole bed. It was like 20 people. We were going into neighborhoods and just picking people up.
I'm like flying over, and JH and I, we had like radios and stuff. But I'm flying over. I'm looking at JH's truck just like covered in people, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is some straight up stuff I have never.
It was wild.
Yeah, like legitimate rescue. Well, that hurricane took that turn south and just hit hard.
It always does. We obviously I've lived here for a long time, and like they always are like, it's hitting Tampa Bay, and it always cuts through Charlotte Harbor.
Indian burial
It just goes.
That's what I was gonna say. The Indians.
I agree. I mean, it's got to be something. I used to have BMX jumps at the Indian Burial Grounds in Palmetto. We used to ride our BMX bikes, and when I was a kid, and like I never got hurt there.
I was like, where the hell is this going?
Never got hurt there.
Dude, the wind were gnarly. I can't believe the poles at the Freedom Factory are still straight. That wind was insane.
And it came like the opposite too that I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be coming.
Well, everybody was in Tampa. Like all the guys that were like storm chasing were up in Tampa.
Yeah.
I even saw like the storm chasing guy local lost his truck in the flood. There's that Mike's Weather Page guy. Like
he did?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got like
see that.
flooded out, like cooked.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, he had to like abandon it in the middle of the night. I was like, God.
Dude, have you seen modern day tornado trucks?
Like, you're talking about the actual, like...
The ones that like hunker down.
Remember that? Yeah, you remember those back in the day? Mm-hmm. Have you seen them now?
There was like that TV show.
Aren't they like F-350s?
They are tricked out now. This one I just saw, it made me really want to build one and go chase tornado.
Bad location
it's
for
like,
that.
you know how it's got like they're like tilted like a
so the air
dome.
doesn't get under them.
Yeah, it had gigantic hydraulic stakes that also would go through the ground to hold it down. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sick.
I just imagine some like random like, oh, I'm here to chase tornadoes, pulls into some dude's driveway and just like puts his stakes down.
Just right through the concrete.
Why am I parked here?
Causes all the damage.
It's like a rim of a car.
Yeah, just no care. Like, oh, it's a tornado coming through. I'm qualified for this.
There's a video I ran across, and the guy has two of them, and I don't know who it was. It was on YouTube, and he's like getting them running. They're literally just Suburbans, and that's what they were. Like the interior is like a Suburban. He pops the hood. It's just a 5.3, and he's just like, this one doesn't run. This one he gets running and it's perfect, but the other one's like, this one's blown up or something.
I think we could build a sick one.
Yeah.
Well, Demo Ranch had that bulletproof Suburban. That would have been probably a good start.
Yeah.
Then he naturally shot it.
Yeah, shot it up.
Guy had to just shoot it. I mean, it's an interesting one because it's one of those things you never want to know how good they work, or you assume they work extremely well.
Yeah.
kind of just one of those assumptions, I guess. But you gotta test those things.
Chasing a storm would be sick.
I'm down.
Like a real nader.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tough one.
That's scary.
Yeah, but if you're in one of those cars, you're good.
You think so?
I saw a dirt devil once.
Of like
when we were in Nebraska. Saw this little dirt devil spin up on a baseball field.
Did we see a nader in Colorado one time? Or maybe close. We thought it was like spooling, but it wasn't really.
I don't know. You can take. You know what's a good idea? Chase water spouts with a boat.
I've seen that.
Take out Mark Mitchell's boat.
I'm out on that one, bud. I think I'm out on that one.
Scared of water spouts.
Yeah, dude.
Is the honey hauler still around?
Dude, I actually
modified.
I actually gave the honey hauler away, man.
Did.
I gave it away.
Was that a 16-foot?
Bro,
I got a girlfriend and he got rid of his honey hauler.
A 16-foot honey hauler is what it was. It didn't have a name. It was a honey hauler.
It was unbranded.
Yeah.
Completely custom.
Sounds illegal.
It was. It would do. You could have 9 people on that boat. It would do 34 mile an hour. You could have one person on the boat, 34 mile an hour. It didn't matter. I would run the bulk. They have this thing called the bulkhead when you come out into the bay, come in the Manatee River. You don't go over the bulkhead. I would trim that thing up. There's like a 60-foot section you'd skim across, good to go, and like guys are just like, we don't understand what's going on here. I'm like,
honey hauler, dude.
Yeah.
Remember when you came over and tested it in my pond?
Yeah, not a good day.
Not a good day for my pond.
Not a good day for my boat or your pond.
Dude, when you were talking about the manatee rescue and like how it takes them time, I was just thinking about how when you're stuck in mud and your friends are like, we're making a plan, and they just leave you out there in a side-by-side.
They
like
do
you're
that?
Underwater.
When is that?
We're making a plan, and you're just out there.
Oh, I remember that. I know what he's talking about.
I think it's mostly to Alec when we were out there.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. With Caleb, when he flipped his, I was like,
I was so mad.
Dude, we need a minute. I'm like, we got to get some
Remember
shit
that
gathered
trip?
up.
That trip
That was wild.
bad.
Dude, I got crushed.
Dude, remember when Alec put his fully upside down in the pit? There was just like a river.
He just drove
that had
off
no
the
water.
canal.
Oh yeah.
Remember he
And
didn't
then
see
you
it.
fell off the cliff. Remember that?
I go to jump off the cliff and I hit like a tree root. It just stops my feet and I just go boom.
Dude, it's like a 8-foot deep ravine, and Alec from the Freedom Factory flips his X3 into it. The thing's roof down in a foot of water. So I'm like, okay, hopefully it's not drowning. So I go sprinting down there, and I'm like down to eye level with Alec. I'm like, you good? And like I hear this behind me. JH tripped at the top of the ravine. Trips at the top. And just free falls straight to his chest. Heard every square inch of air exit his lungs.
That's when Alec knew you were a real friend.
Classic case of like needing a rescue after trying to rescue someone.
It's pretty scary being underwater with a helmet on. I've been there.
Oh yeah, I've actually never been under with a helmet on.
Well, you were doing the boat stuff, and that's, I mean, shoot, you can be underwater with a helmet on.
Wasn't Caleb underwater?
True.
When we did that one.
Caleb was okay, I think. He got right out.
He got I got ate up by ants.
Yeah,
he got right out.
I don't recommend going underwater.
Them ants are wild out there.
Red ants are.
This guy was like in the water
worst
trying
enemy.
to get away from the ants. They're just floating on the water,
coming
on him, and he's just like,
Hey, have you ever seen?
So bad.
If you're
I
in
hate
Florida,
red
you'll
ants.
see like a red ant. If we flood, you just see this island of red ants.
yeah.
Well, this
You were
genius,
going in the water.
this genius just kept driving this side by side into these piles, and I'm
trying
like,
to wash
It was
off.
nighttime.
I'm like, what's he do? We saw him. You saw him, right?
Like they
It was
glow in the
night.
nighttime.
Like he would hit these piles of red ants, and he's like, "Guys, we're getting ate up by ants," and we're like, "Quit hitting the piles."
He
You
has
don't
a
see
cab
the
on his
islands?
side by side.
Yeah,
He's in a
Yeah, I
cab.
had a cab.
we were out
I
with
did have a
Bronte
cab
at
on
River
it.
Ranch, and all the girls were kind of standing there, and Bronte's standing with Maddie, and she's like, I got red ants on me. And Maddie looks over, she's like, get out of the ant pile. Maddie's still standing on the ant pile. Maddie's like, I was so confused. Like, my first thought was like, why isn't she moving?
Dude, the ants love you. Even today, you got tore up.
Remember that time Cooper got stuck at River Ranch? Like, what's that spot called?
I don't-
The wetlands or something?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not in the wet.
Mud
It's
man.
not wetlands. It was
Drunk.
like, it was just next to cypress trees. That's what the cypress swamp.
Yeah.
And dude, this guy just.
I got him out, dude.
I
looks
feel
at
like
me and
there
goes-
could have been another route to get me out.
He goes, "Hey, watch this."
That was the day that Doug Butterfield got banned.
Doug Butterfield got banned for life from
I've been
River Ranch.
trying to convince him to just get like a fake ID, like Bud Duggerfield. Just flopping along.
Here's the deal: we got a fix for that. We're not going to say it on here. But we have a fix for that.
Get him
He's
back
allowed
in.
back.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Go in through the hunting side and just.
Well, no, it's not illegal. It's not illegal at all.
We're gonna get it approved.
Yeah, it's approval.
It's interesting because River Ranch is on a bombing field, basically,
Right
where they
next to it.
test
Next to it.
bombs.
Yeah.
What?
It's on it's next to Avon Park bombing range.
Yeah, like you
A lot of
drive,
radiation over
It's
there?
it's a active bombing
Actually.
range.
and people try to get as close to the bombing range as possible. I've noticed. Like they try to ride the fence perimeters. Where I'm like, why are we so close? I'm like, why
Well,
are
they
the
have
trails?
a whole,
So
you know, like the perimeter is like a big trail. Obviously, they have all the way around it.
you can see craters.
Yeah.
When you're on the like they're 40 feet away from you, 30 feet away from you.
You know when I realized JH was a true, divine redneck? I was at River Ranch. It was flooded. This is his
Makes
last
sense.
trip. It was so flooded, so flooded. So when we got there, we rode across
remember
this huge, gigantic flood. It looked like an ocean. We rode across it and we get to the other side. Anyway, the water comes up while we're there. This is right after the hurricane when
right
they
before
reopened it.
No,
Oh, was it
right
before it?
before it?
Oh, it was
Remember
before
we had all
it.
that rain.
Dude, so the water comes up while we're out there. So now the river is too high for us to cross. So I'm in my X3 and I go in over here, too deep. In over here, too deep. In over here, too deep. I actually probably did that 30 times. And I have red ants at this point on every crevice of my body. So I'm just like, I'm pissed. And I'm like, where the hell is JH? He comes doodle bopping up in his Can-Am. Like, what's up? And I'm like... He's got Garza with him too. Like,
Window
what's up,
down.
Red Ant? Like, you know, just giving me shit.
Had the heat on.
I'm like, brother.
Yeah,
I'm
we had
like,
the heat
I don't
on.
know what we're gonna do to get back across this. He goes, you gotta go right here. And I'm like, what? It's just,
They're like, he
there's
looks
just
like a
water.
lake.
It's just a lake.
He looks at
There's-
me and goes, "No way.
There's no landmarks.
No way."
Zero landmarks. The guy goes straight across it, dude. I'm like, what? So I get behind him, and I swear my snorkels were this high. from the water. It was
It's the highest
only
I've ever
spot
seen.
we could have made it.
Yeah, it was the highest I've
And
ever
I'm
seen.
like,
it.
damn, he really has that redneck GPS.
Dude, remember the time we had this was like early us knowing JH, where we had to go with his mud truck and help those people behind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell
We were
are
like
we
Texas
doing?
Roadhouse eating dinner. I get like a message on Facebook. Hey,
An SOS.
hey, we're stuck. Can you help? I'm like, let's go.
And then we saw that guy bury that excavator.
Like a
too.
brand new excavator.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
I was literally snatching on the excavator to get it out. We get it out of the way.
That's cool though.
And then it was cool Friday night.
Most things got dug deeper and deeper as we were trying to get them out.
Yeah.
It was a bad deal. That one guy was just like eye deep in water trying to just like.
Jage was like, we can't break the surface. Once we break the surface,
You're done. It's
yeah.
endless.
It's a floating island. Really get him in his element out there.
And not to mention, this is like the weirdest spot ever because you're a mile from the Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in civilization still.
You know what's the worst
in a mud truck.
when you're stuck is like everybody suggesting how
Oh,
to get
yeah.
unstuck.
Can't listen to
That's
anybody.
one of the most infuriating things.
Or somebody pulls up with their radio full blare and they're like trying to party and you're just
they're like, turn the wheel to the left.
can I just do my thing? Like, yeah.
I've had that happen. I was stuck in sand in like early on in my car driving career. It was probably like 16, and car gets stuck, and it wouldn't come out of the sand. But instead of like, oh, let's just like go get a thing to pull it out, everybody opted for their try. Let me try.
Yeah. Mind if I give it a shot? That's the worst.
Guys, like,
What
we need a
about-
better
hey,
plan.
High centered.
This is much later in your career of driving. What about when you drove your Tahoe off that storm drain?
That was a good good Chick-fil-A experience. Garrett did the same thing. He goes, "Let me give it a go."
Definitely. Dude, that's how
I think I got
in
it.
a puddle.
It gets framed out. Where are we going?
Remember when Cooper's scooter died at PRI?
He missed
We
a
told him to
slingshot.
slingshot around
He missed a
the.
slingshot.
Oh, PRI. I need to go back. I haven't been back since then.
Yeah.
And we get that we get to the we
I don't
get
want to go
the-
back.
We get to the bar and we're like chilling and like Cooper, everybody's like, where'd Cooper go? I'm like, he must not slingshot. He's like, didn't slingshot. 30 minutes later, Cooper shows up. Thanks, guys.
Scooter
Really
died.
appreciate. Scooter died. Thanks a lot.
Well, the route we take is like, instead of A to B, it's like A all the way around the corner
race.
to B, and it was we added like 10 extra miles onto a scooter that was already dying.
I remember Cooper going,
I was so mad.
my scooter's almost dead.
Before we started.
You remember? No, you guys remember? We took all our scooters and hid them in the hotel room.
Yeah, they were all bird scooters.
At like 3 o'clock, and we're like, we got to come back after dinner, get our scooters, and all the alarms. We had set the comforters on them because the alarms were going off.
Yeah, because people were trying to like find them.
I just remember him being like, my scooter's almost dead already. Can't we just go straight to the bar? and someone was like, I shouldn't be that far. Like, you got plenty, or it might have been me.
Someone.
Then we end up at the bar, and like, we're like, where's Coop?
Dude, remember you got to the bar up here,
He just
and there's
comes walking up.
yeah. Oh, I was mad. You get to the bar up here, and there's that random guy out there in a minivan with a jet in the back, and he's like blipping the throttle on the street. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
I've been messaging that guy.
Of course.
I've been messaging that guy. I've been trying to buy that thing.
He's blipping the throttle on his minivan, jet powered,
Yeah.
just in the street somewhere.
Yeah, I've been talking to him a little bit.
PRI's a good time,
The
though.
PRI memories, especially with the side-by-side guys, like when Doug got a fully charged scooter that one time outside of White Castle.
Oh, yeah.
After you had placed it there.
Yeah, dude. I told Doug Butterfield, I called him, it was like 2 a.m. I'm like, dude, meet me at White Castle. We got to get some burgers before we go to the hotel. And I'm sitting at White Castle forever. And I'm like, where is Doug? Like, I just rode here. And he calls me. He goes, hey, man, I finally found a scooter. I'm on my way to White Castle. He goes, fully charged. And I'm like, really?
Where'd you find a fully charged
Yeah, my
scooter?
scooter's gone. I look down the road. He's riding directly away from the White
We could
Castle.
see him. We could see him grab it out the window of the White Castle.
Yeah, and I go, Doug, that's my scooter. And I see him. I go, you're riding away from White Castle. And I see him just go, while he's riding, he goes, oh shit.
Dude, the best was you set up this whole race, and then like the biggest dude pulls up and he's like, my scooter's about to die. He was already a big guy, so it's like, and I think it broke in half almost instantly.
break in half.
Someone did break a scooter.
Another guy got clothesline. Remember the guy clothesline?
I almost hit a horse.
Scooter races are crazy.
Scooter races get a little intense.
Because the president or the vice president was also in town while we were scooter racing that time.
Right.
Pence was like
that was a bad
parading
call.
through
Yeah.
downtown. So they're shutting down streets and
Penn
stuff.
should have thought about that better. He knew
It was
that.
a weird time to show up.
Now the scooters all have geofences. It's really just not as cool. That was back when
Really?
they had no geofences. You could ride them wherever.
Can they bring PRI back to
man.
back to Florida? Can they move it
That would
out?
be
You know, it used to be in
very
Orlando.
cold.
Yeah, it was in Orlando. They used to have a rental car drag race at the Lakeland drag strip. We went years ago.
Really?
And all the guys that were there, I was young. I kind of just started my shop, and they would have a rental car drag race on Friday night for PRI.
Rental cars get so abused by car guys.
I actually heard that they're
insane.
doing a rental car drag race, Cleetus and Cars Indy, no prize, just fastest time.
We did rental car spectator drags.
Really?
That'd be sick.
We did it.
You did
When?
it?
Yeah. Oh, you guys were all at a wedding. The last spectator drags, we had a rental car class.
Really?
Oh.
Any contact?
I don't think there was contact. No.
When did this happen?
We were at a wedding.
We were all at a
missed
wedding.
it,
Remember, it was
yeah.
a championship, like the one that
Yeah.
we just did.
Oh, the Spectator Drag Championship
yes,
deal or whatever.
the one that I bought. The first one I ran the Porsche.
I gotta hear this story about there was one time y'all were staying somewhere you got hit in the head with like a salt shaker.
Dude, that's Spencer. That is 100% Spencer. We're
Valdez.
all up in Michigan.
Valdez.
Yeah, that
We're
was
all
when
up
he
in
rolled
Michigan
his
at the bar
sides.
hanging out, and Garrett's like up on this like balcony area where they have like a pool table, and Spencer like goes to like throw a salt shaker, and I look up because somebody's about to throw something at somebody up there, so naturally you look up. He throws it, it hits the railing, and just bounces back and hits me right in the face.
You're just watching it. We're all watching it, and you just like never take your eyes off it. It's coming.
It was pretty quick. I mean, it was like,
and that was the same day you rolled your.
yeah.
You cannot
machine.
skim talons.
No,
Talons
well,
are not skimming machines.
that was one of the times I rolled it. I also rolled it into the pond.
Remember when you tried to bog across it and it just floated?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when the guy
bogged a
found
couple
my
things out.
the guy? Well, to finish the Spencer story, he goes, why did you look up? And immediately tries to make it seem like I did something wrong. And I was like, dude, I didn't do anything wrong in this situation. You threw a salt shaker.
I mean, we all saw it and we all watched it. You just didn't, like, it's coming right at you. And we're like, is he going to do anything? And it just.
I had a beer, dude. I was buzzed and it just like came at me. I was tired. We had ridden all day.
Yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't going to hit me. I thought,
honestly,
maybe he cleared the.
That wasn't bad for all the things that could have happened to you today. Because you rolled your machine twice, right? I mean,
I think it was both the same trip. Yeah.
It was. The real bad was when he tried to skim and like he rolled it at like a higher speed, I think.
Yeah.
It just like stopped right away.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I think even Chad's tried to skim too, and his talent won't skim.
Yeah.
It's honestly better than almost drowning when you're in a harness and you have a car helmet on and you go driver's side down and the water just like the same time at it was a bad deal. Yeah.
I was there. I remember him. I was there.
I lost my Croc that day. The guy found it. He never returned it. I think I have the other one up there. Still waiting.
I do remember that. Didn't he send us a picture?
He posted it on the Cleetus group and I was like, oh cool, send it in.
Never did.
I was like, what is he doing with it?
Not this guy.
Piece of memorabilia.
I actually signed the Croc at an event, so maybe that was it.
I signed a prosthetic leg once.
I signed a baby.
A baby? Yeah, I've signed a prosthetic leg
Signed
once.
something really weird the other day. I gotta think about what it was, but it was something like I've been signing a lot of driver's licenses lately.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems
It's
like
illegal,
there's
bud.
I mean,
somebody tried to have you sign like a
Excellent.
grinder once.
Wow.
Like it was for like marijuana and you were like, no.
yeah.
I was like, nice.
I'll take
Yeah, I
that.
was like, come on, dude.
He said no and I was
Garza will do
like
it.
I was like, man, I'm too stupid to say no to that. I would have signed it like an idiot. But like it's way smarter to say no to signing something.
I didn't know, like I didn't open it or anything, so I was like, I don't know what the hell this thing is or something. Like, it was, I don't remember, but
That was like early on too when there was still like a bald eagle at the one where like a bald eagle showed up.
yeah, that was the one that JH first was at.
That
too.
was the first one.
Never, you'll never see a bald eagle on another Cleetus cars. You know, really bad idea. It turns out.
It's weird because the bald eagles are everywhere. If you go to the dump over here, there's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
You can just go
Yeah.
get one.
They're all over.
You could just go lure a couple to the Freedom
I think
Factory.
you're actually legal to do that. I don't think you
They
should
live
just
at
go
the
get
dump
one.
though.
Yeah. It's-
You could give them a better life.
Yeah.
That would be sick if we had like some bald eagles at the Freedom Factory that lived there.
Yeah,
With
what
a
do
big,
they
nice
like?
nest.
Bring them on over.
Probably fish. I don't know.
You could probably
Fish.
convince
A lot of fish.
Alec to go get them.
That would be sick.
Just Alec pulls up to the dump and
Dude, he
just
is a
shoves
bird
3
whisperer.
bald eagles in the truck and takes off.
Have like an enclosed trailer and just kind of like.
There's like a police chase. It's at the freedom factory.
Dude, remember when your brother put the yellow machine underwater in like 5 minutes of driving it?
Dude. Same place, River Ranch.
Remember
Where
when
I bought a brand new X3. Well, I had an X3, and then I had this old Can-Am that was beat. And when I went to the dealership, I was like, I just wanted to get rid of it, and no one would buy it off Facebook. So I said, all right, I'll take it to the dealer and trade it in. They gave me like $5,000 for it, but I got an X3, a base model one, brand new, 1 hour. Parker drives it right into a canal.
I'll never forget it. He's like, Parker,
Immediately into a canal,
like,
totally
Parker,
underwater.
if I don't go through this, do not go through it. Follow me if there's
a
something.
minute before.
It had like 1.9 miles on it. And that was
He
what
just
it took
lives
literally.
out.
brand new.
He just goes in and we're all just like,
The thing just goes. I mean, there's not a lot of opportunities in life to drive a brand new machine unless you pay for it. And I'm like, I remember the whole conversation. Unbelievable, Parker.
Remember when we hit the swing set at Glamis?
yeah, I remember hitting it. Yeah.
Remember I was with you?
Oh, that's right. You did ride with me.
We were like, we're gonna just like scale it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, just hit it. Like, I didn't think it was any.
all
Everyone
right.
just kept saying it. It was like
Yeah,
a
You
big
did
jump.
it perfect.
Side by sides are fun. They're really what brought us all together. Was
Yeah.
riding. I feel like that's.
Did a lot more riding.
I was gonna say, if you were gonna tell somebody to get into motorsports right now, like, oh, you want to just go have fun in a vehicle, it's hard to not say side by side.
Yeah.
Like you could go so many different
fun.
places. Like if you watch like what
They're
Leo and
just so
Susan side by
costly
side
now.
blog do,
They went from being like 14, 15 grand to $35,000
Yeah.
for an
those
X3.
new Polarises are crazy.
Yeah, they're over like
expensive.
50 grand or something. I heard.
I don't. understand how they've risen in price so much. I guess it's with everything going up.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's just everything.
Would you buy a Polaris for $50,000?
I wouldn't buy a Polaris for $5.
More of a KRX guy.
Listen, when I was growing up, my buddy went and bought this brand new Polaris.
I know Polaris.
It was sick. This thing was awesome, but that thing was I'll never forget it. It's embedded in my brain. It was in the shop more than he wrote it. And I was like, never owned it.
About Chad's Ranger?
No, another one. Like, I was like a child. I was like 12. And this thing was just broke all the time.
He sipped his Mountain Dew.
I said, nope.
Said, I ain't ever buying no Polaris.
Never buy no Polaris in this house.
Dude, the best was when Garrett like tipped his feet into the off-road stuff, and it was when we were at the old shop, and like you would just destroy a machine and just show up and be like, yeah, James, it's cooked. And James would spend like a week preparing it for your next outing, and you would just show back up. No videos, nothing. We didn't know what happened, and it would just show up like everything was wrecked.
Are you talking about the or the Can-Am?
Yeah.
You remember when I drove the tracker into the leach field in between?
That was rough. That culvert there.
Remember we picked the tracker up. We drove it back from St. Pete. Me, you, and I think Drew. Didn't know anything. We get in this vehicle he buys, and we're just like, yeah, let's go back to Bradenton.
Dude, the tracker series. I just remember I drove it in that thing in between our buildings because we leased that building in Clearwater with Jeremy. I drove it. There was this mud pit in the middle, which was really a leach field. And I drove it in there, and it was just like so bad. And it was muddy as hell. And then the freaking owner of the landlord shows up and just rips me a new one.
It's his drainage field. It's like his literally drainage ditch.
Literally his drainage.
The guy's shown up 10 times in the 2 years we were there.
He shows up, dude. He loses it, and at this point, I kind of like didn't really like this guy. So I'm like, "What do you want us to do? Leave?" He's like, "No, just." Why the hell you have to go in the drain field?
That was a reasonable question. Very reasonable response.
We drove it back. He gets in it for 2 minutes, and Garza just kept going, you drove it for 2 minutes, and you broke it already.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Kept telling him that over and over.
Very intoxicated that day. He did not let it go.
Which now you know that's how it works.
Dude, I realize in all this that I'm just not an off-road guy. I'm an asphalt guy. I've just... I don't know. Whenever I get off road, I just destroy a lot of stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, it's pretty hard on stuff going off road.
Remember
good thing you got rid of the mud truck.
Yeah.
Remember the flip that we did that one day when you like flipped it hard?
Yeah. No, I don't have that one anymore.
No, that was the one.
I've flipped a lot of Can-Ams.
Yeah.
Well, that is mostly what you ride. So if you rode Polaris, you'd flip them too.
Yeah. I'm not good off road.
Remember when Chet flipped with Savage?
We had no idea he was flipped. We kept going. We got back to camp.
He came back like 30 minutes later. And Savage is in a sling.
Off road is just far more dangerous.
I don't know about
a lot more variables.
Dude, remember when Spencer rolled your dad's buddies?
Yeah, and they tried to tell him
that was
they were on a
gaslighting
hill,
for sure.
And it just
over.
flipped.
And like the windows broken.
They were like, it was in park and we weren't even in it, and
We weren't in it. It just rolled over.
And like you could just tell it was a lie. And I think Spencer had to give him like what, $5,000.
He was like, if you want, I'll pay for it. Like, you took it out.
Wasn't it like Sunday? We were about to leave. Like we
Needed,
were
like,
done for the
radiators.
day.
It was a brand
Yeah.
new machine.
Need a radiator, windshield. It had one of those Remember we were playing with it, the electric windshield that folded
that's
up
why
and
it was
they
so
shattered
expensive.
it.
And the guy, 90% of his time there was helping people, like
no, he wasn't
cooking.
cooking.
Yeah, he was cooking.
He wasn't cooking.
It was
no,
Bob.
it was,
No,
that was-
Bob was
yeah.
just drinking.
But he was
Bob
just hanging out.
drinking. Bob was at the camp, just drinking.
But I remember Spencer and the guys that were there, like explaining the shittiest story. And then I just recently was with
Holes
them
in it.
all on Parker's bachelor party, and they came true. Like I guess Spencer tried to like go up and like flick it, like to like spray at the top of the dune, and just didn't, obviously, because it's a 200 horsepower Can-Am. You ain't gonna get no roost.
4-seater, right, with 3 people in it.
Yeah, and it just flipped on side immediately.
Dude, that Glamis trip was great though. That was such a good.
No, we really need to do that again.
If it only wasn't so far to get to like a desert like that.
It is so far.
It is a trip out there. You gotta send your stuff out there because it's like a week just to get there and back.
Content is not really very easy to make because
It's just the same.
It's like a helmet cam for the most part.
when you think about the title and thumbnail, it's like, what is it gonna be? We're just in the dunes, and so to pay for the trip, it didn't really make sense. Like the only thing we could do is Justin and I had to jump the shit out of our machines to get a cool thumbnail, and then it was like, okay, we have that day's video. What's gonna
We're
be
there
our
for like
next
3 or
video?
4 days.
Yeah.
So then we had to break one of them really bad.
Remember whenever I kind of mixed up, the guy told me hit it like 50, and I just did it all by feel. And then I remember seeing 50, and I was like, I gotta go a little, I don't know. And I told
the swing set jump.
Yeah, the swing set jump. And I told Seuss to hit it at 50. And I guess Seuss literally looked down and hit it at 50 and just came up
that.
30 feet short.
Yeah.
Remember you told him? Like,
I was like,
and then he tried
sorry,
again.
but he tried
Did the
again.
same thing.
Same thing. I said, bud, just hit the gas. I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
I just did it by feel.
You said like it's 50 miles an hour. It's 50 miles an hour. So we're all like, all right, so we'll hit it
you
at
were
50.
like dead
You were
set on
fine.
it.
So
too,
I
though.
go down and I'm riding at this hill and I'm like, I got my speedo at 50. I'm like, no way this is 50, dude. So I like mad at I remember I looked back at my camera and said like 64 on my dash or something. So then Seuss goes and
Sorry,
he
buddy.
hits it right at 50, dead on.
That's like a scary mile an hour to hit a jump at. That is a lot
You
of
don't
speed.
realize how fast you're going though. Like, and you're up that hill. If you remember when we hit it, the jump was still pretty good. And like, you're going up this incline for a minute,
full throttle.
and then finally it's like we just take off and you're gliding.
Seuss is such a good rider too.
Yes,
Seuss is
good.
probably the best side by side rider.
Super fearless in jumping.
Jumping,
In
he's
America.
insane,
I
dude.
think he's the best one out of the crew.
Really?
Yeah, because I've ridden. Well,
Clip
I guess I
this
haven't ridden.
for him.
I think him and Doug.
ain't no way.
That'll
Doug
be a
is-
good clip.
I think him and Doug are pretty comparable.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. Ain't no way Leo's the best.
Yeah.
It'd be Doug or Seuss. And then, I don't know. I think Seuss is crazy. Yeah,
Who do you think is the
crazier.
best driver in your operation?
What are we talking about?
Like
Burnout?
out of my shop guys?
Yeah, like if you know you.
Are you talking about like everybody?
Yeah,
Or
his,
like
his
talking about
employees
his
I think
employees.
that-
on his payroll.
Actually, on the payroll.
George.
I know mine.
So
Sure.
Alec can drift pretty good. I think it might be Ty.
Ty?
Might be
Really?
Ty. The thing with Ty though is that he's conservative. You know,
Yeah.
he's like not gonna risk it for the biscuit. He won the late mullets. Zach,
I think it's Zach. Zach is my guy. Zach.
I don't
sends
know,
it.
dude. I think
Think
Ty's the only one that could like get in a drift car and rip it.
Really?
I think Zach could with a little bit of practice. I already know James and George like they can, but they're not proficient at it.
Yeah.
Alec can link the infield.
Alec is a good driver. Alec is a good driver.
I don't think James has ever modulated a throttle
Nah, James is too like just
to the floor.
to the floor.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the videos of him in Bristol racing his 240, and he was in both lanes wide open.
George is like I don't know. I think George doesn't have as much experience as
Yeah.
those guys. Like
Well, George is a lot younger than what I thought too.
You
I
know-
thought George was older than me.
I feel like
Turns out not.
maybe George
he's
didn't
40.
get that time like in high school, like beating the shit out of something in the high school parking lot.
Really?
Because like, but I feel like he did. I don't know. Like he just he gets behind his cars a little bit sometimes, like letting a wheelie go all the way to the moon.
Yeah,
5
it was,
times. Like he's getting really good now. Like he just won at
Well, he
FL2K.
loves to wheelie.
Tuner should have
He's-
stopped that though.
Yeah. Well, I did tell him like it's definitely not gonna wheelie, and then it wheelied.
He
See, if
loves
my
to- Go ahead.
if my car wheelies, I am super wheelie shy on the next pass. So like, I'll end up pedaling it when I don't have to.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how after so many wheelies you're not like immediately almost like
know.
modulating the throttle. That's a bit impressive because I get a little like wheelie shy.
That's what I'm saying. I think he gets just a smidge behind it. And George, I know you're gonna see this clip, so I love you, buddy. But
I think he knows.
He's getting better. He's definitely getting better. Like now,
he's also in my opinion, the worst vehicle to race out of your whole thing. Like 100%. That racing that, your whole garage of everything you have, like that S10 Blazer is just you have a 1071 blower,
and like
it's as long as this table,
and like the Fiero, there wasn't a ton he could have do. I mean, I guess he could have gone left.
That would have been.
But like,
I will tell you, and I've told you, George,
he didn't drive out of it,
so I'm good. You said he should have gone left.
All you gotta do is turn left. He goes, he still has PTSD. He told me. He said he's got PTSD from that.
I mean, that's a gnarly accident.
Yeah,
I thought I thought that one was that's probably the worst.
You think you're gonna get another wheelie car?
Yes.
Or we should fix that one. You think that one's fixable?
Yeah. What would you add to Cleetus and Cars if you could like add something like that? Like what kind of interesting get people in the seats, like a wheelie contest down the track, maybe?
Yeah, we actually thought very deeply on doing a wheelie competition, and I found out, like the Byron wheel stand. Mm-hmm. I found out that drag strip's super wide, and so that all other drag strips, like ours, is like BMP's 50, and I think that one's like 75 or something. It's crazy wide. Maybe it's 65 or something, but that's a big factor because you don't want people over the walls. Yeah. So I know Victor would let me try it, and Indy probably would too. But how do you gather enough wheelie cars?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the
they
same.
Have like are you talking about the competition they have?
Yeah, that's Byron wheel stand.
I saw somebody there and they like hit the wall and were like riding the wall over and like I was like,
it's crazy. It would be sick. Maybe we should do it next year.
Yeah, I wonder if there's anybody that comes out and like will do it basically like how the jet car, the Larsons come out. You give them like you pay them and they come out and put on a show because it would be cool.
And then did you see that one Chevy now that's going around with the 6x6 Chevy that can do a wheelie on the street?
I did see that. That was insane.
That looks sick.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah, I wonder what else there is like that you would want to ever add to the show because that's kind of where you're going down. It's like
we kind of need something.
It almost seems like
your show for a couple of years.
You're going for an all internal show where you can show up with just you and your guys and put on a show even if nobody enters.
I don't know what would be the next. We did like stadium trucks. That brought a lot of people.
Yeah, the stadium trucks.
That was badass.
I don't know what. I've been thinking about that a lot actually because we've had the same show for so long. What is the next big bring? What's the next big?
What's the next big? Because you kind of had demo drags. You phased that out. It was cool.
Well, kind of the next gear to grab in a way, I guess you could say.
And then now we've got the race, which is cool. The tracks we go to now all have the circle track, so we get to do a race, which is awesome.
Yeah, which I love.
But I get what you're saying. Something
we need some big pull. Like what's something crazy? I always think about what naturally sells tickets, and destruction, and like themed stuff seems to do well. Like our Christmas tree race is a banger. School buses are.
We could add maybe like at one of your races, add like school bus figure eights at the end after the race is over or during or before it.
Yeah, I look at like
everyone loves to stay for that.
Yeah, I look at like what Monster Jam does, and they just like it's all like internal, and they just show up in a city. They don't rely on like.
We could get some monster trucks.
Good.
Monster trucks are pretty cool.
Cases would break so much though. It'd be hard to.
Dude, if you just
hard to like guarantee people a show with.
I don't know, dude.
What are you gonna do with monster trucks?
Jump them around a little.
Yeah, you do a freestyle show.
Dude, we could do that, or like I got some ideas. Just let me handle this.
Get the guy from Tour of Destruction that jumped all those cars like a madman.
That was insane. That guy is
pretty crazy.
Wild.
You know who wants to do that? Zach.
Really?
You're Zach.
Zach is like, I will do that same jump.
Zach is way too valuable.
Did his wife say that was okay, or was this an internal thought?
Idea, Zach.
Yeah. Not at all.
I said, if you want to build your own car and bring it, it's one thing. But I don't think I can be responsible for putting you in.
Yeah.
No. Dude, that hits tough.
That's one thing I got to think about now. Is all my guys are racing. I'm like, dude, you guys got to be careful.
I tell them, dude, they get near me.
They got to work on the cars too.
Yeah, we just had a meeting.
That's an important
Monday,
one.
And after the Danger Ranger, and I told them all, I said, listen, if any of you, ever feel like just a little bit uncomfortable, don't want to race, I'll never question it. Just tell me. This one's not feeling right for me.
A safe
sit
word.
it out. Yeah, dude, maybe we need a safe word.
It's like peanut butter.
Potassium. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's definitely some instances where I was almost killed by you.
Yeah.
There's quite a couple I can think.
What were they? What were the good ones?
It was mostly, unsurprisingly, it was mostly toast.
Yeah, the one time I almost caught you on fire, and the one time I almost hit you.
In the street testing toast before we left.
The one that was worse than that. Oh, remember the time you fell asleep at the wheel in White Buffalo?
No, I was asleep.
Back from Orlando.
I was asleep. I don't recall.
Dude,
We're on
whole
a straight
trucking
road.
trailer off the road. We are bogging, dude. I was sleeping too, but he got her back on the road. No big deal.
Dude, me and James had the scariest experience though with the trailer.
Oh yeah,
and Monica, that was
whole
the
hitch
scariest.
broke off the RV.
You guys say got home though.
In the
You just
parking
got home,
spot,
right?
it
from,
broke
like,
off.
Houston.
I remember that.
And it didn't like break off, and then the chains held it. The whole hitch broke off, so the chains and everything went with it.
The chains are just left behind. I'm making the turn and it's like 4 a.m. and I'm looking behind me and like suddenly the trailer's not following me anymore. And I'm like, that's weird. Maybe I'm like really sleepy. And I get out and it's just like disconnected. And I'm just like, me and James are just like,
What do we do?
we didn't even say anything else. We were just like, he was like, I'm going home. I was like, you're smart.
I'm going home.
He's like, that's a later job.
All right, so I guess to finish the question, I'd say James, best drag racer, Ty or Alec, best drifter. Zach and Ty on the oval, and then my boy George, he's getting there. That's where I'd leave it. Oh, George? Yeah. Oh, George probably wins burnouts. Him and James.
Dude, I don't know. That one where he went over the wall is a great clip, but like,
that was great.
Where he hit the wall and the wheel broke.
Great for advertising. It's the first clip we show in all our ads.
Great ad clip. So to end this off, Garza, I wanted you to get on Cameo. I think you really should do that. I feel like Garza could crush it on Cameo.
I don't know, dude. I feel like Cameo's the last resort.
No, because I feel like if you don't want to like film YouTube videos, people like get you to like do happy birthday stuff or like
Not doing no
stupid
cameos.
videos like that. Dude, people send crazy things on there though.
You need to get a dirt bike and come ride with your boy.
Dude, I can't do 2 wheels. You think I can handle that?
He's
Get
got
a
an injury
110.
right now, dude.
Dude, every time I'm on 2 wheels, it's bad.
Nah, you'd be alright.
Are the Island Boys still on Cameo?
Probably.
Call him right now.
I know a lot of comedians do it, and they do really well on Cameo.
Chet does it.
Really?
Chet does it. See?
Well,
That
right
guy's
there.
a social media guru.
right there. Right there. Can't do it.
Guy is a social media
I don't want
guru.
to take Chet's
Guru.
move.
Remember when he had that video of the crash at Glamis, and like he was posting it all over? Somebody was rolling down the
yeah.
like the video turns away, right as like all the action's happening. And it was-
I missed that. I don't
You'll have
remember
that.
Remember that video of the guys rolling down the hill?
That was his video.
Yeah.
he had the video. I don't know if it was his or something.
Dude.
Oh, what was the most expensive burnout you've had?
Oh, when Kill a Bee blew up.
That was a bad deal.
Roughly.
I feel like that.
I mean, that's-
Yeah.
Well, look, I value everything by what it's given us. That engine. Say it did probably 4 good burnouts for us. So, if you divide the cost of the engine, I would have liked to get 8 out of
What did it cost to do each burnout?
it. What did it cost to put a freshie in it?
And that's not
30 grand.
including the price of the car that you bought it for.
Yeah. I mean, I got the car for a great deal.
Yeah.
So, and then to do, get the video buying it, several burnouts, the money from that probably paid for the new engine. But
Toast has had some expensive ones too, though.
Toast is
Attempts, at least.
Yeah, but those engines were, I think, more so sponsored. Versus
Yeah.
Steve's engines are not sponsored. Steve gives me a good deal, but I just pay for them puppies.
It's the most expensive one you got.
Same deal.
6-0 when it was on fire.
Slightly sponsored. Right?
Yeah, mine was slightly. Yeah, I paid for like a lot of it would be like I'll pay for the parts to have it and they would do the labor for free kind of deal.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
some things just get expensive. Like
the problem was when I had to do like 4.
That does sound like a problem. It really adds up when you start breaking more than one.
Yeah, it was actually 3. I was like, the third one, that's the last one. I was like, man, this is just not good for my wallet.
I mean, I've had some like passes that just cost more than others. I've had like your mud truck, that one where you tried to drive over the van.
That really put me on the map.
That cost a little more than others.
Cost more, but that was the video
that made me YouTube. I had a YouTube channel, and I gained like literally the next day. I'm like, I gained 10,000 followers overnight, and I haven't posted in 5 years.
Yeah, wasn't it just like music videos before that?
It was just like just random. It was just like some old stuff I filmed like in college, and I was just like with my trucks, and that was it. And then it was
You know,
I don't know. I've always had that mentality of like, if it's broke, we gotta fix it. And at this point, I'm just like, I'm so dialed in on making stuff just badass from the start that it really sucks when you build something fresh and then it blows up immediately. But it doesn't hurt as bad when it's been going for a while. Like Neighbor finally blew up. I'm like, whatever.
James was probably so happy. James probably jumped up and down.
James is coming around to Ford.
I mean, he doesn't like Neighbor though.
I think he kind of does now.
Oh, okay, well, that's good. Yeah, some things. Neighbors had a couple expensive ones. That one time where we tried to tune it.
Yeah.
And we tried to push start it down a hill.
Yep.
That was a really bad idea.
Yeah.
It was hydro-locked and it wouldn't start. And
I was like,
you were like,
push start it.
Yeah, you were like, Cooper, I'll sit in it. You give me this push down this hill at Kevin's shop.
Pop the clutch. R.I.P.
Down a hill, he popped the clutch and it was hydro-locked.
Just folded a rod.
What an idiot.
Just right through the block, too.
Yeah.
At tuning school.
You know what car James hates? Now, because James is always liked some, like, if he likes the car in the shop, he'll do like really good work on it. If he doesn't like it, then he like just kind of does what he has to do.
I remember back in the day with Neighbor, some of the stuff.
Yeah,
he hated that car.
And it was just like,
now he likes it.
Yeah.
James hates the Blazer.
Oh,
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, the Blazer's got a following.
That doesn't mean that James doesn't get to hate it. He's had to fix that thing more times.
He's had to fix like the same shit on it so many times.
Yeah. He just has like a parts list for after every. Like, oh, I just need to order these things after it comes down from a wheelie.
Yeah.
Motor plate, block. What else breaks?
Yeah, so it breaks. Yeah, the motor plate bends, so then all the water leaks out of it, and then the steering always just gets destroyed. It usually snaps an ear off the block for the motor plate. So now basically we're down to just water pump bolts. And then that's pretty much it. I don't think it's smashed oil.
What's the deal on Ruby? That was my first.
Yeah,
I think it was my first 8-second pass, Ruby.
Yeah.
And you were like, I turned it down.
Yeah, you went 860.
And it had so much boost creep that you couldn't turn it down. Like, there was no turning it down.
Ruby's just chilling, no motor. James pulled it out to refresh it, and we just haven't put it back together yet. Ruby, like, I don't know what to do with that car.
It's in a tough spot.
It's going to need a lot of stuff to go any faster than it is. But it also, how do you make a video with a car that can't go any fast? Like, I don't know. I guess I'll just race with it at what it's at. But now it's, like, too slow.
You know that class is exceeded it, you're saying?
Like to run, like Ruby ends up always in the fast bracket with mullet.
You're like middle bottom of the A group.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But now mullet won't really fit in the streetcar class.
I know.
But
so that's legit. You guys were talking about that. They're not like. What do you mean?
I mean,
FL2K is it's not going to fit.
Some are FL2K. Like we won last year, and now the rules are going to be different, so that I won't be able to run it.
And you can't double enter. Is going to be his new rule because you won 2 classes at the same pass last year.
I mean, who runs a T4 really though? All these big high horsepower cars, are they really running?
LaSalle does, and so does Jim.
Oh, is LaSalle?
Yeah. But he's not big block.
They can get away with that. Yeah.
He's only 76s.
I heard the streetcar class at FL2K that was not going to be the one to run because I think the prize is going to be bigger in the Extreme 28.
They're going to give more money, so it'll slow streetcar down because you won't be able to double enter, and
All the
they'll
fast
give
guys.
more money for 28s.
They're maneuvering it around for us.
Yeah. They're helping people like me and
Yeah.
like people that are in like this. Like my car could
The
probably pull
slower
out a
bracket
50.
you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't blame them
Slow
because they
guys.
are so fast, but also it's like anyone can buy a big block or a Coyote. Those just happen to be the two fastest right now. So why kick them out of the class? But I don't know.
Yeah, I think once you come into supporting that is where it gets expensive because the motor itself, okay, you could get that. It's everything around it. I mean, shoot, the turbos on Mullet are like
Here's my thing on it.
$40,000 worth of $30,000 worth of turbos, aren't they?
Bullets? No, that's like a. I mean, it's an expensive turbo, but I think the set of 94s is probably
I think I actually just looked at them. I think they're like $6,000 a piece. Or
it's
7
probably
grand a
under
piece.
15 grand.
Okay, so
Yeah.
15 grand for just the turbos before you even touch a V band
Yeah,
from Precision.
Yeah, no, that stuff is expensive.
The thing
It
is,
adds
though,
up
it's
quick.
like, in my opinion, it's still a street car.
It's
It's
100%
true
a street car.
just like any, like if it's a street car.
But then
It's a
you don't
street
let
car.
Tom Bailey in.
Yeah, but Tom Bailey's a full tube chassis,
Yeah.
so I think that's where you make the separation.
He found a VIN number somewhere.
That's true. I guess we got this much of a. I do want to build a car like Tom's, but before I do that, I want to make a dragster like street legal, I think, and try and take it on a race week.
A what?
A dragster.
Dude, how sad is
well.
it that Bandamere is closing?
So sad.
Dude, I love that track. As bad as it is
Probably
for
the
boosted
sickest
cars,
track in the country.
as hard as it is on boosted cars, remember going there and having like Brent help us at 1st and we couldn't get anything to spool up there. No idea
Yeah.
what we were doing. Holly
It's
couldn't even
one of-
breathe. She tried to like run
A
to
golden
go to the
retriever was
bathroom.
gassed.
She's not doing much better nowadays at sea level.
At a resort.
Oh man, it's such a heartbreaker. You know, and I don't know the situation with Bandamere. I don't know why it closed.
I think it was that neighborhood right there.
Yeah, but was it that neighborhood? I mean, but why? Like, I know the neighborhood being there could have then caused a couple of reasons. I don't know, but I don't think the county like shut them down. Did it?
I don't think so.
But they're saying they're moving. From
So,
what I
yeah,
read.
so maybe
They're moving by
somebody-
the airport. is what
Someone
I
might have
read.
came in and just said, "Hey, we really want this land. We'll give you this X amount for it," which is enough money to go build a brand new facility somewhere where you won't have as much trouble with, houses.
It's such a weird spot too because it's like it's on a mountain. Like you're not just gonna like build a ton of houses right there. It's like it's on a mountain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I wish I was more educated on that situation because I'm curious what is happening. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of sets a little precedent for what you and Victor will have to deal with in the next 5 years, depending on what's going on there.
I mean, I think we have a solid 10 years where the tracks sit, and then at some point, which to be honest, the tracks are pretty beat. At some point, someone's going to offer a ridiculous amount of money, but the only way that I would move is if I had another facility already built. Because I'd hate for somebody to like
no downtime.
try and buy us out and then we don't get approved somewhere else or something like that. Yeah, no, it wouldn't.
Wouldn't fly at all.
Would it be contingent, I guess, on your...
Well, they've made contingent offers. I've gotten tons of offers to buy the track and lease it back for 10 years. And I got those before the development. They've gotten a lot more aggressive since the development. But I just tell them all that I will not sign a single piece of paper until my other track, if I were to move, is already done. And I also, or if there was just some insane contract but I doubt it. Like, I would need an operational drag strip and track already done, ready to roll. And then I could say, okay, now I'll sign that.
You should try to buy a Immokalee. I bet you they'll sell that. That's out in the middle of nowhere.
Immokalee.
It's already got
I've
a
never-
track.
I've never
It's
been
on an
there.
airport, too.
That'd be cool. I want there to always be a track in Bradenton.
Yeah.
And I think that BMP and Freedom Factory are going to be fine for at least 10 years. I don't know what'll happen after that. It's just like, at what point, the problem is we're good now. We have commissioners who are on our side. It's just what is going to be the goal of the commissioners in 10 years. That's what I fear.
Yeah, because it'll be a different group of people pretty quickly.
Yeah, short term, we're dialed. We have everything we need to protect the tracks. Long term, that could all fall apart. But we're certainly not going anywhere now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have both been putting good money into the facilities. Victor's put a lot of money into
Victor
it this year.
just resurfaced the track, and
he just put a ton of new asphalt,
that's
bleachers.
The goal with concrete is because it'll last 30 years. So that's why we're like, let's do it.
The RC airport's there.
I mean, every event at your track or his just about is insane. It's sold out, packed, standing room.
2 of the most successful tracks in the country.
Literally, sure.
Very difficult to exit when exiting is happening at those tracks.
We're working on that.
I figured you were.
We're trying to fix the.
I was like, man, you need like a helicopter or an airplane to leave here efficiently.
Yeah, the tracks weren't set up for this many people that are coming to them. Like, we added triple the bleachers at Bradenton, and it's like, well, the road's the same in and out.
Yeah.
Triple the bleachers, kept the ingress, egress same. And then the Freedom Factory, we doubled, the real seating capacity, and it's the same. It's one road, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I figured you were kind of
log pit. People were getting stuck.
There's a jump. There's a jump out. You have to be real. Dude, last time I was there, a guy put his Ranger into the ditch.
Yeah.
Missed that, really?
Yeah.
Just like a fan. I was like, big Ranger fan.
It happens.
This is my Danger Ranger.
It's like, watch this.
Yeah, we got to fix that damn road. That road is tore up. But, dude, that road's long as hell.
It is long.
I mean, all we got to do is drive in on it. It's just the space. It's really like the road's tore up, but it's not terrible.
If I got a real solution from the county to, like, give me a way to exit. So, if we want to get into it really quick, the road, for those of you who've never been to the Freedom Factory or Bradenton Motorsports Park, if you're a racer or you're going to the Freedom Factory, period, you have to take this one road that technically I own. And then the drag strip has an easement to use it. So, it's 1 lane in, 1 lane out. It's a complete cluster, especially if both facilities are open.
Tight 1 lane in, 1 lane out. Not a wide.
And the road is destroyed. Yeah. It's horrible. It doesn't matter as much for me because anyone racing at the Freedom Factory trailers their car in. A lot of guys going to BMP bring their like lowered street cars. So it's bearable for a lowered street car, but it's not good. To redo this said road, because it's at least...
It's pretty long.
Half a mile?
It's at least half a mile by...
shared.
We'll call it 50 wide, 40 wide. To really repair it and re-asphalt it with a good base, I would say minimum, this is on the low side, 200,000. And then, and that's just to get to the drag strip. To go all the way into the Freedom Factory, I'd say 300.
I think the road's held up enough where I wouldn't stress that. It's literally just your entrance and exit.
Yeah.
But it's just how do we make it bigger?
So now, say we call it 250 grand. 1, it doesn't fix the traffic issue. 2, it doesn't double my business, doesn't increase my business at all, not even 5%.
Yep.
So it doesn't pay for itself, and the problem exists in the traffic. So if the county allowed us to have like a light where 2 lanes could turn left out at the same time, and then 1 lane right, and then it was like, now we can make this sucker 4 lanes wide the whole way.
Dude,
now it's $500,000. Now it's 500 grand to do it because it's double the width, and it still doesn't increase my business. So it's like,
and the locals will get angry.
Yeah, and the locals will be mad at me for getting a light put on State Road 64.
Yeah.
So I beat myself up about this thing all the time. I'm like, how the hell am I gonna fix this? So that's the predicament I'm in. Maybe someone in the solutions or in the comment has a solution.
Like a tram service, like a Disney. You park in an external parking lot and they cart you in.
Maybe we could put a culvert.
The problem is if you make another road, now you have 2 people trying to leave.
I know.
And everybody, I would say 80% of the people
left.
leaving go left. But they could go to what's it called?
Big
They're
field.
smart. It'd be smart to go out to 675 and then take that to Moccasin Wallow. It would be like the smart thing to do, but people don't because they don't know.
You're
the
only
area.
going to 75.
Yeah, they're like, let's go to 75, but it would literally be about the same distance.
You got a big field in the front. Just make an entrance.
Yeah, I know, but you can't just make entrances on.
It's just that easy, bud.
Yeah, I mean, talk to people, make an entrance, make an exit. You're good to go.
So then you make an entrance and an exit, and then
you just shell it.
And then some dude piles his Ranger up, leaving it, and then his attorney goes, "This wasn't a real approved exit."
Not
the
FDOT.
You're sued.
Dude, don't you
Realistic-
know this? Aren't you a
complicated.
surveyor? Don't you know this stuff?
Yeah, what the hell?
Realistically,
Let people do what they
BMP
want.
has another entrance that they could somehow
They actually,
finagle.
they do have a
to
the
work.
drag strip has another entrance.
Yeah,
It's a nice road.
I feel
it's
like they could
grass, but
finagle
it's like
that.
hard grass. From when I've been on it, it's nice. And there's
Yeah,
like ticket booths and everything on that side.
I don't know.
They have
Everyone's so used to how it is. I mean, maybe we could switch it.
And you'd
they
also
have
have to shut it
multiple
down.
ticket booths down there. Like it's actually super nice. We used it for our event when we used to do one there.
Yeah,
Yeah, didn't you guys do airboating out there?
We did not. They used to. They had airboat racing.
Alan was like, never again.
a guy died racing airboats at BMP.
Guy flew one and died. We did a truck event where we had like diesel drag racing and truck pulls, all kinds of stuff. So, which
That
would
would
be
be a
really
cool
cool
event.
again if any track promoters or owners around here want to do it.
Diesel drag racing.
Diesel drag racing, or truck pulls, or
Dude, we need to do
mud
sand
bogs.
drags.
I would love to go do sand
Sand
drags.
drag. Well, we could do them at
Put
your
paddles
place.
on the Porsche.
Dude.
Oh yeah, we could
We
sand
could do
drag
'em
in the front
field.
lot.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that place down south that we used to go to? Didn't they sell? What was that place called?
Sandlot.
The Sandlot.
Sandlot.
That
Sandlot's
place was
cool.
sick.
It's
Dude,
actually
what are
gonna
they
be
doing
It's
now?
going to be an RV park. I heard.
That would be
Making a
cool.
big RV
Oh,
park.
Dude, they got some good dirt there.
Yeah.
That would be
That's
a cool
what I heard.
spot.
I don't know if it's true, but I know Sandlot's gone and it's supposed to be. And then they had some other guy come in and open a mud park deal. And then when I went out there the first time, they were bogging in these wetlands that I know in Florida you're not supposed to be doing that. And I was like, it's not gonna end well. About a month later,
What
the
a
park
rat.
shut down.
That track they had was wild. They had a big track there.
Yeah.
Ronnie Renner was out there, I think, the one time when we were there, and he was hitting that thing very, very hard. He was hitting
We
that
tried
track.
to. I think JH and I tried to lease it at one point. Like we got the
So
numbers,
much-
and it was
so much
something.
money.
It was like it was
It's just in a wrong area.
expensive.
It's
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. It is literally just.
That area is growing down there, though.
It is, but not with
Near
those
it.
kind of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not with real boggers.
Yeah.
Where are the real boggers at then? Bradenton,
Bradenton.
Tucky?
In between Bradenton.
Lorraine Road.
Basically, get away from the civilization and get in the swamps. That's where we're at.
It would be cool if we did another diesel style event. Like I love that truck pull thing.
Truck pulls are fun.
Yeah, those are super interesting. It's hard to make them safe enough, no? Is that where it gets tough?
Truck
Like
pulls?
not
where
a
you
lot of-
block off stuff? I guess you could do it in the Freedom Factory
Well,
probably better than they could do
Yeah,
it.
the Freedom Factory has the setup.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about having, and you can line the trucks up.
Like somewhere like Bradenton would be tough to
Well,
have one
Bradenton,
at.
we used to do it on the drag strip. We did it in the burnout box area, no problems at all.
Yeah.
And then we also did it at the very end, but that was like a pain in our event. And we'd be doing the truck show and the diesel drag racing. Everybody'd have to funnel down to the end of the track and see them. So the next year they did it at the burnout box. It was great. It was awesome.
New JH.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah.
Have you talked about trying to get LS Fest south?
We actually have.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be sick.
At one point, it was actually really pushing, and then I don't know. I actually should follow up on that.
That would be a really cool event to get
That would
to
be sick.
Bradenton Freedom Factory.
Yeah, because it's a perfect setup for them.
Perfect. That place would be huge.
Do you remember the first Cleetus cards when it was standing still burnouts?
Yeah, I do. Well, we used to do them at Streetcar Takeover. We would travel around and
Do burnouts.
we would help them host their burnout contest because we had no business being drag racing.
Yeah. So,
When I had Matt Happel on, I was talking to him about it. I was like, honestly, you were right to insult us when you did.
yeah.
It's in the moment it hurt, but looking back,
It's so funny, thinking about how much. Remember when we used to get hated on so much because of Leroy and our whole spiel. We used to get a ton of shit, and now it's like, and I used to take it pretty personal. Now I literally just laugh at it. Like if someone's hating on us at this point, it's like you've completely missed the point. We do not care.
Yeah.
We are going to build cool stuff, beat on it, break it, destroy it.
That's anything. Like anybody that wants to hate on something you're doing, unless it's like needs to be hated on. Like there is some stuff out there, but for the most part, like people are gonna hate, especially if you're successful with doing it. Yeah. You'll find your most haters. Like that really is true.
If you're doing something different and out there, I mean, you were just talking about success in your last post, which was a pretty cool post about all the people that have some level of success. I mean, can't verify all the comments, but I imagine
there's a lot of really good, insightful comments.
Yeah, people that have, and that's how Alan's been so helpful with you and even me. I've learned so much from him. Such a solid mentor.
Yeah, Alan Shervit. Well, I don't want to say his last name. I already said it. Screw it.
The Alan.
Our boy Alan.
You'll see him at a Cleetus Cigars, walkie-talkie in hand, directing stuff.
I'll never forget Alan. Alan is a very man, there was one time we were at a Cleetus and Cars, and like these people were in the way, and I'm just like, "Hey guys," and this guy just wouldn't. And Alan just goes, he just literally is just like, you just have to tell him, like you just can't just tell him. He just goes up and goes, "Guys, I'm gonna need you to move out of the way," and they said, "Guys, move out of the way," and I was like, this guy, and what is he, 5'9", 5'10"? You know, he's not like a big guy. You know, like
what does height have to do with it?
Oh, I'm just saying, I look at this guy. I mean, this pipsqueak walks up to me, I'd be like, whatever, dude.
Alan carries a lot of authority.
Absolutely, like he just literally just straight up he'll go up to people and just like, yeah, we need, like, hey, you think I've said it, I'm like, hey, should we do like this? He's like, nah, we're not gonna do it that way. Okay.
You know, I have a 5-year senior internship contract with him, right?
Really?
Yeah. So he's stuck with us for at least.
I remember
years.
So he owned Bradenton, sold it, and he was like, "Cool, no stress." And then suddenly he was thrown into like full Freedom Factory.
This guy owned the drag strip for 17 years, and somehow still
loves it. Remember we had to kick that guy out, and he's just like in his golf cart. Garza, come on. This guy was like, he had his kid like where he should not be, and then he was trying to hide.
Oh, I remember that.
He was trying to hide from Alan, and Alan's like, Garza, come on, and we like chased him down.
Nothing gets by Alan.
No.
Hey, is there anything else like abandoned you'd like to buy? I know the abandoned racetrack.
Yeah, I really want. Well,
see,
I'll
these
just
planes
say it
always
because
fly
I've been
overhead.
waiting for so long. Yeah, you're in the.
I'm in the flight path.
The wind must be from the north right now. You got to go around the airport.
I knew that.
I'm in their flight path.
They fly over my house quite a bit too now. They changed
It's actually
all
not
of a
a
sudden.
specific path. It's just whatever the controller like vectors.
They like this.
But they like your house. I'll say it now because it's been so long and it has not happened. I wanted an abandoned dealership so bad. Mcfarland, Chevy.
That'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh. Obviously,
remember there was the one in town and we missed it. They tore it down.
I would love an abandoned dealership. That's probably unrealistic at this point, nor not needed anymore because we have a shop. But I wanted an abandoned duct tape factory really bad to rebuild and make duct tape, my own brand duct tape. Not really too into that anymore. What have I been on the
abandoned airport?
I've been really trying to get an airport.
An abandoned airport would be really cool.
But I think we're just gonna build our own.
I guess that works too. Yeah, but abandoned things has such a good draw to it. You know, Demo Ranch really proved that. Abandoned Mansion really.
You see what he's releasing right now?
Yeah, I didn't see what it was.
An abandoned town.
Is it?
Yeah, like a resort town.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's like
if
you wanted to.
Chernobyl's up for sale?
I think we should buy
Chernobyl.
Garza, you want to go in?
Yeah.
Where I was,
Ride my dirt
where I grew up,
there.
they had this abandoned watch factory, and it had to be abandoned because it was glow-in-the-dark watches, and they were so toxic that you couldn't do anything in this building for the next like 90 years.
Really?
So this like building in the middle of like downtown is just like you can't go in there. It is heavily abandoned.
I always wondered what your deal was.
Dude, you know what?
Yeah, it was watch acid.
You know what I bet I could buy that's been abandoned for a while? Cooper's V1.
You can buy that right now. Send you home with it.
Abandoned as heck, dude. They said, Robert.
I have an abandoned dog too. Garza tried to take her over once.
Hey, what about your pool, dude?
It's an abandoned pool too.
I've seen the abandoned. Can we get some skateboards or get a bike over here?
I'm not getting in there on two wheels.
Skateboard?
Let's skate in it, dude.
Boosted Boy Kyle is going to do something.
Get hurt.
I don't skateboard actually, but I'll do a bicycle. Yeah.
Kyle Boosted Boys could probably rip a scooter around it pretty
100%.
efficiently.
I feel like you need to build an electric burnout car.
You know, I talked about
I've
that.
been talking about it. We need to just get it done.
I would do it and name it Doug.
I want to go on record saying that is the dumbest thing this guy's ever said.
Well, he's been talking about doing it. I want to see it.
What? Well, okay, so if you roll out with that, would you let it happen, or would the fire department come up and be like, "Sorry, we don't have the equipment to put it out"?
No, we definitely let it happen.
Because that happened in Long Beach when they tried to do an electric drift car. They said
love
no.
See the way the event's set up that I can make that decision. I'll allow it. All right.
I mean, if you let diesel trucks come out there,
They're
probably the most dangerous vehicle.
I would love to watch an electric car burn right to the ground.
Is that a risk?
it's definitely a risk. It shouldn't be.
Sustained high voltage wattage.
Can I plug it in? Like, do I need battery?
Can't charge it on property.
No battery. Run 110 right to.
Oh, smart.
I heard Motion Raceworks is coming
Think
out
about
with a high performance battery for one. Doug said he's been working on it.
Yeah, Garrett's probably in the know on
Yeah,
that.
I don't know anything about that.
EPA compliance stuff.
Dude, you know what that made me think of? Imagine if your car was plugged in, like you had this overhead boom and it was plugged in the whole time.
Yeah.
Like the cord comes unplugged, like you run out, and they're like, oh shit.
Remember when you were plugged in at my house?
That's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of. Dude, Cooper got arrested on this night.
I was in a holding cell.
Wait, yeah, dude, you got a felony.
No, I didn't get a felony.
I do
No,
remember.
I got released.
Oh yeah.
The only dude that got in trouble was Vito.
Oh, Vito, yeah.
Who got tased.
Dude, Cooper threw a Christmas party when we were in college. And I was, I'm a tall guy, so I thought it'd be funny to dress up as a Christmas tree. So I wrapped myself in lights, and then I had to stay plugged in. So I'm dragging this extension cord through Cooper's house, dude. All of a sudden, and I mean, I'm lit up like a Christmas tree. And the damn door, dude, someone's pounding on this door. And I'm like, holy Toledo. I'm like, someone's pissed off. Dude, I look out the window, whole bunch of police.
With a van. Like, they had the van
They brought the van, dude.
They brought the paddy
Luckily,
wagon.
there was 300 people. Everyone splits, dude. We're all running in all directions. Left my extension cord behind. I make it out of there. Cooper and his roommates, dude, this is the funniest thing. They decided to not let just one guy take the hit. Him and all four roommates went down together. They all got the same
So
charge.
no one could help. But like, we needed to get picked up from the police station. Like, we were in Orient Point, like by Ybor. We were just like sitting there. We were there for an hour, and my roommate was already like eating the sandwiches that they were handing out. Like, he was there for a month. It's like,
I forgot who did bail you guys out.
I don't even remember, but it was only like 11 o'clock
Yeah,
when
you
we
guys
were
got
there.
out so fast. It's crazy.
They were like, we don't want to deal with this.
I don't think Vito got out.
I don't even think you got. Oh yeah, dude. The one guy dressed as Santa Claus got tased.
In the front yard. Put down in the yard.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they did say
What if they would have
like
tased
that.
you and your Christmas tree? Like, you're the tallest guy running out.
I was too fast.
Oh, okay.
No, dude, Garza's beat you in several foot races.
Oh, all the time. I'm about to
Bro,
beat that sir on
yeah.
One
too.
time, if you mean this.
All right,
Good
well,
times.
we can wrap this up here, guys. This was really fun.
2.5 hours in.
Yeah, let me know if you guys like the 4-person. I got another microphone coming, but that's kind of it. I think I normally end this off with where can they find you guys at, but it's pretty self-explanatory
Yeah, the deal, dude.
on this deal.
Yeah, Garrett's
Garza, where can they
is-
find you?
On Instagram.
What's your address, Garza?
Can we get your social security number?
Dude, I had a fan like on my road just like Garza, and I thought it was a buddy. I'm in a pink golf cart, my girlfriend's golf cart. I'm like, oh, it's a friend. I back up. It's a fan just like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, What's up, dude?
Yeah, you're like in like you ever be in like Wawa somewhere and like, what are you doing here, man? I'm like, just getting like a sandwich.
Living life, brother.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
thought you lived in Texas. I'm like, bro, I live like a mile from your house.
Just let them think it's Texas. All right, well, we're gonna end it off there, guys. Come out to Cleetus and Cars this weekend if you're still listening.
It's gonna be lit.
If you're listening to this past this weekend, disregard. Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know when the next one is. When's the next Freedom Factory one? Can you even announce it?
June 10th we have Sportsman Series, but the next like big
November.
race and all that November. Yeah.
All right. Good deal, guys. Well, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all those good things. We will see you next time. Thank you for watching.